Hello, you guys. I am so sorry for my late arrival, but how is everyone tonight? So we got Brittany J, of course. Hey, Broken Justice, Lady Kelly, Michelle. Let's see. Alchemy by the Stars. Hello. Jennifer Green, Irvin, Rosa Lang. Ooh, all of my favorites are in here already. Rena. Oh, hello to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Brittany. Hi, Dave.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I am good. You look pretty tonight.
I do. Thank you. I'm actually in just like my pajamas, AC/DC tonight. Well, actually, it was AC/DC last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just a
You're
different.
just holding.
This was a different AC/DC shirt.
It's okay. It's a good band. At least you didn't choose a cheesy one.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with AC/DC.
Exactly.
Hello to everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh my goodness. So how's your night going, Brittany?
It's going good. It's rainy.
I love the rain. I told you that.
Yeah. It's all right. I was just reading up on this case and
The Cash Gernon case?
yes.
Okay, so we're gonna get into like the Mandela effect tonight and multiverse theory, like what could be plausible explanations for the Mandela effect. But before we get into that, because we wanted to keep it light and casual, Brittany's just going to give us some updates on the Cash Gernon case because we did cover that at one point. So she's just going to give us any updates that happened from then until now.
Okay, so we chose to go over this first because it's kind of graphic and it's really sad. But just since the last time that we spoke about this, there have been some new developments, and the forensics are back, and they have basically connected that. What is his name? Darian Brown, the suspect. Right. So he had blood on his glasses, an Adidas jacket, and hold on a second. And it was a hoodie, a jacket, a pair of glasses, and also a pair of his pants. And the blood was, in fact, Cash's blood. The worst part, yeah, it all tested positive for Cash being his blood. But the worst part of all is there was camera footage that was discovered by the police that show Darian Brown actually carrying the child to the woods where there was a biking trail, and the stabbing was actually caught on camera. It showed him carrying the 4-year-old to the biking trail and stabbing him repeatedly in the chest. Then Darian carries Cash from the biking trail to the scene of where they found him. So I hate it. I can't even barely say that without almost crying, but I just wanted to update everybody because we did speak about that. And yeah, so if there are any people that are involved, it's not, there's no evidence of that, but I mean, it's still an open case. So yeah.
I apologize. I'm trying to figure out where I could have your name on the screen. So I'm sorry, you guys, that I'm like messing around with this. But I'm sorry. I know someone asked, can I put it up on the screen? I'm not sure really how to do any of this just yet. I'll have to figure it out at something. But it's Brittany J. Brittany J is on panel with me.
Maybe it's something I can do. I know sometimes I think it does show up. I'm not sure. I'm sorry that I fumbled over that when I tried to explain that, but I didn't have anything in front of me, and that topic just really gets to me because that's just extremely sad. Oh my God.
I just feel
hang
like
on, I'll look and see if there's a way that.
Sorry.
It's the delay.
Yeah.
I'll see if there's a way that I can put my name up there. I'm sorry.
No, it's not you. I just don't know how to do it. I'm not too. I should really get into StreamYard before my live starts and figure this all out, you guys. But I just haven't. But this case, I've always figured, like, I've always felt as if there's something bigger going on, that we're going to, I don't know. It's just that woman. That woman is so sketchy. Did you hear there's like an audio? Molly Golightly, everyone who's interested in this case, Molly Golightly has done amazing coverage of this case. And I was listening to her last night and she was playing like the recording of, what's the woman's name again? I'm sorry, you guys, I've been totally out of it.
Oh, yeah, her name is blank because I know this. Monica Sherrod. I'm sorry, Monica Sherrod.
And the audio of her, I mean, she sounded really out of it, let's just say.
Well, this is the problem that I have with the whole situation and why I struggle to let go of the fact that there was anyone that took part in it. Because in the beginning, like we spoke about before, they lied. Monica and her son both lied about knowing Brown. They lied about the involvement that they had. Since then, we found out that he actually lived in the home. They took Brown in and allowed him to stay in their home for 8 months. So, I mean, you said that you just knew him from school. Like, so, I mean,
right,
if you did nothing wrong and you're innocent, why lie?
Absolutely agree.
I don't know. I feel like this case is far from over. And even though they have Brown on camera, that doesn't mean that someone didn't take part in it in other ways. It didn't necessarily mean that they have to be the one to actually do the murder.
Correct. 100% correct. Just because he was involved doesn't mean that others weren't.
So, I mean, but other than that, that's pretty much it. They did I think it's the capital murder now. They finally brought up capital murder charges on him. So unless there's something going on that we don't know about, we're pretty much, this is probably as much as we're going to get for a while as far as information is concerned. But like you said, Molly Golightly, also she collabs with Tiffany Marie. That's another good YouTube channel.
Oh, I didn't know she had her own YouTube channel.
She does, and it's by that name, Tiffany Marie. If you look her up, she probably has a little more info than Molly Golightly does. But those are two great channels to catch up on it if you haven't heard of that case.
Definitely. I suggest everyone, if you're interested in it. I know Molly has been going live like every day with the updates. And I appreciate that because obviously all cases deserve awareness and attention, but anything that just involves children, I don't know, it affects me a different type of way. And I want justice for this child. And like we keep saying over and over again, justice means the truth, and the truth isn't always what you want it to be, and it's not always pretty. Sometimes it's awful, but in order to achieve justice, you have to figure out what the truth is.
Well, Eric, you said, no, I told you before, everyone has that one case that affects them. And this is that case for me. And I think what it is one, I have kids around his age, and two, we see the kidnapping taking place on, we see camera footage of it, and it has haunted me to no end. I've lost sleep over this case. Those little boys, and to anybody in the chat, if you are a believer and you pray, please pray for his twin brother Carter, because that baby he lost a piece of himself when Cash died, and I'm sure he'll probably have to go through years of therapy. He may have guilt that it wasn't him, instead of Cash, why not him? Survivor's guilt, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
So just please pray for him.
Before, like, not only does he have to experience the fact that his brother got murdered, he has to experience the fact that it was caught on footage, and that this guy came in and stood over him and basically did kind of as far as it seemed like to me, an eeny, meeny, miny, mo between the two. Unless we find out later on that, because I said it seemed like the other brother would have been the easier pick, because the other brother was the closest to the edge, the closest to Darian Brown. But for some reason, he went for Cash, who was huddled in a ball closest against the wall. But basically, it was a 50-50 chance that it could have been him. So that, I remember watching that footage for the first time. It was eerie. It stopped my heart. It was, especially as a parent, it was something so, like, you could just feel the energy through that video.
Yeah, you're right. And I seen that too. I got that vibe. It was as if he was trying to choose which one he should take.
Yeah.
So, but I know that's a hard and a touchy subject, but I just felt like, because we covered it, and I know you agreed that maybe we should, just give a small update. I know we want this to be a lighthearted live stream, so.
Yeah, we didn't. Hello, Buttercup. So good to see you.
Oh, she made it.
Build me up, Buttercup, baby. No? Okay. Well, yeah. We just figured we would go live and we would do some lighthearted things. Like, I have covered the Mandela Effect on 2 other people's channels so far. So I feel like everyone probably already knows it, but who knows? There may be a lot of us that don't. And it's still mind-boggling every time I cover it. So we figured we would go through some of the Mandela Effects for anyone that hasn't heard of them. And we'll try to go through plausible explanations. A lot of people think, actually scientists say the most plausible explanation is that we are currently living in a multiverse. So we'll get through what exactly that means and what other theories or explanations you guys think could be for this. Oh, you know very little, Jennifer. Well, I look forward to it.
Wait. Before we move on, I just seen something in the chat.
Okay.
Someone said that Darian Brown was arrested at Monica's house.
Yeah, Jennifer said, here, I'll scroll up.
What?
She said he was arrested prior at Monica's house before any of this happened.
Okay, I got it. Okay. All right, gotcha. I thought she was saying, like, for the crime. Okay, I got you. It was for something prior
Rena.
to that.
Hello, Rena. Thank you to everyone in the chat. I love every single person in here, and each one of you. It's really fun actually being on this side of this, because I'm still getting used to it, guys. I think this is my 6th live, but each one of you brings like your own little personality, and I expect different things from each people, and I look forward to it. Okay, so for anyone, hello, think for yourself. I know it's a shit show out there, right?
I love Megan J.
I really like Megan J, yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know what the Mandela Effect is, Britt, when I'm talking, can you mute just because there's an echo? And then I'll do the same. Thank you, darling. Okay. So the Mandela Effect is a phenomenon that makes us question even the most mundane memories from our past. The Mandela Effect is named after Nelson Mandela. The theory is named after him. He had died in 2013, but countless people distinctly remember him dying in prison in the 1980s. Now, Michelle, thank you. A lot of people vividly remember Nelson Mandela dying back when he was in prison. They have such vivid memories that they say, I remember being in my 8th grade or 9th grade history class, and I did a legit like board presentation on this, where you get those boards at CVS and you'd have to glue, you know, like the photos and the little facts. And they're like, and there's other people who vividly remember watching the news on the TV of Nelson Mandela's death, only to find out that he never died in prison. He died in 2013. So this thing came about called the Mandela Effect somewhere around 2012. And if anybody remembers 2012, when the Mayan calendar ended, a whole big thing went around that Earth was going to end. It was going to stop. Life was going to cease to exist as we know it. Somewhere around 2012, a lot of people think what was our normal timeline branched off and became 2 separate timelines. Because since 2012, there's a collective group of people who have false memories. Now, when I say false memories, we'll just take the Nelson Mandela, for example. A large group of people remember Nelson Mandela dying back in the 80s. So it's not just like, one person here or one person there. No, we all are collectively sharing a false memory, meaning we're remembering something to be different than it actually is. Up, I lost Brittany. Let me drop that. Hello, Shelly Love. Yes, Rosalie. Megan. Sorry, guys. 1 second. So yes, and anybody, it's okay, Brittany, just hop back up. And anyone else who wants to come forward and come on panel, please, you're more than welcome to. So I'm going to go through some examples, and some of them you might remember one way. There's some that you're going to remember the other way, but I guarantee there will be at least one of examples that we go through that it's going to stand out to you. And you're going to be like, no, it did not happen that way. I remember it specifically being something else. So let me get this up. Okay, guys. All right, so let me know. All right, so can you guys all see this?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm just going to drop the link one more time in case Irvin or anybody else wants to come up. No, I'm kidding. But feel free. Okay. So let's start going through these Mandela effects. So the first one here is Curious George. I don't know about anyone else. I remember Curious George with a tail. He is a monkey, so you would think he has a tail. But in reality, Curious George doesn't have any tail. What do you think, Brittany? Do you remember him with a tail or no tail?
I remember him with a tail.
You do,
definitely.
Right? Hold on, I just maximize this. Let's see. Aw, I have the best mods. Okay. I'm trying to get it to where I could see the comments and see the screen at the same time. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So, come on. Un momento, por favor. Okay. Okay, so obviously Nelson Mandela is one. Courtney, you remember him had a tail, right? I remember Curious George had a tail because in the books, he'd be next. I don't remember what the guy's name in the full yellow suit, but he would hang from the tree branches with his tail.
Yes, thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what I remember. Or he would be hanging from a tree on some of the illustrations.
Broken Justice, no tail. Okay. So let's see. Come on, where did I do that? Okay. I remember the peanut butter was called Jiffy, but it's not called Jiffy. It's called Jif. What do you think, Britt?
That's one I don't remember, Jiffy.
I don't remember it being Jif.
So
I
that's
remember
that
it being
actually,
Jiffy.
I don't know.
See, a lot of people think they're getting it confused with Skippy, because Skippy is a peanut butter too. But no, I remember it being Jiffy, not Jif. You guys remember Jiffy too? Okay, see, I'm not crazy. Looney Tunes. I thought it was Lutoons was always spelt with a double O, like cartoons, but it's spelt like Tunes, like music tunes.
Okay, this was my childhood. Saturday morning, this is what I lived for, and I remember 2 O's vividly. I don't recall it ever being spelled with a U.
I don't ever. Why? I don't know, because we always had Skippy in our house. Right, Megan? I swear it was Skippy. But tunes, it doesn't even make sense for it to be Tunes, like music. It was Looney Tunes, like cartoons.
Yeah, it was always 2 O's.
Michelle, I never paid attention.
Everyone I've ever asked about this specific one all say the same thing, that it was Toons.
Because why would it be Tunes? That makes no sense. Now, this is a big one. This is a massive one. If you guys remember the children's book, Berenstain Bears, it's Berenstain Bears. But now they're trying to say, no, it's Berenstain Bears.
Nope. I had this book collection in my bedroom when I was a kid. This is some of the first books that I started reading. And it was always spelled Stein. What do you remember?
I remember Berenstain Bears. The Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears.
Just you saying it sounds wrong.
And
just the way that
one
you pronounce it
pisses a lot of people off. Like, there's gonna be a few, and yes, Irvin, we'll get to the Sinbad one. But I think they're fucking with us, Megan. They're definitely fucking with us. Sorry, go on.
I'm sorry. If Irvin is talking about that movie, I am with you all the way. Yes. I remember watching it.
We'll get to Sinbad movie, because people not only have the memory of the movie, they have the memory of the narrative of the movie, how it played out and everything. But we'll get to that, people. What's it called? But the Berenstain Bears is a major one for people. People remember. Okay, so here's the thing about the Mandela Effect. So the people who still have the books, okay, they'll be like, no, it was Berenstain with an E. And they'll go and they'll rummage through their items. And when they pick it up, no, there's no evidence of it ever being spelled with an E. So the problem, and what's so trippy about this, you're going to find one as we go through this list that really resonates with you. I have a couple that really resonate with me. And you will search for evidence. Maybe it changed. Maybe it was spelled this way, or maybe it was that way at one time. No. And that's why we're going to get to the plausible explanations, because a lot of people think, well, did something happen around 2012 that caused a shift in the timeline? Why are we all having this collective false memory? So let's go. Okay, so we already did Curious George. I mean, look at him. He looks awkward without a tail. He's a monkey. Okay. I remember it being Sex in the City, but it's not. It's Sex and the City.
I remember Sex in the City.
Which would make sense, because they're 4 girls in the city and they're having sex in it. I never knew it was Sex and the City. What about everyone in chat? What do you guys think? Do you guys remember? Jennifer, what? I swear it was Sex in the City. No, it's Sex and the City. The yellow guy was weird, Megan. You are correct. Like, why are you always walking around with this monkey? Sex in the City. Yep, Courtney. Yep. Michelle. I swear I remember it being Sex in the City, you know? Do, 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 Sex in the City. No, not Sex and the City. I don't know. Still, it's one of those ones that it's like, I don't remember it that way, but it's not one of those mind-blowing ones for me. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Febreze. I remember it being spelled with 2 E's. Febreze, not 1 E. Febreze? Febreze?
Mm-mm. No, I remember
it being
2.
double E.
Yep. Same.
That's how you remember it too, right? I mean,
yeah.
1 E just looks awkward, like Febreze. No, it's
yeah. Just look at
Febreze.
Look at the label. It does. It almost looks foreign, right? Wow. Yeah, I don't remember. That's a mind blower for me. I haven't seen this one yet.
You didn't see Febreze?
Not Febreze, but wow, I do remember 2 E's.
I remember it too. Yeah, Febreze. Not Febreze.
Yeah, Mom, it does look like Febreze.
Febreze? No, it's Febreze. Come on. What the hell happened? What happened to our reality? Okay. Oscar Mayer, you guys. My baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. My baloney has a second name. It's Meyer. That's how I remember it. You're telling me no, now it's Mayer? Someone correct me. Courtney, all of these seem wrong to me.
It doesn't look right, or the song doesn't sound right if you say A instead of E.
Oh, absolutely, Irvin. Glitch in the Matrix. Sorry, hold on. Someone.
It's so off.
Sorry, I don't know who you are behind the scene. If you want to turn on your camera for a second so I know you're not a troll, because I don't recognize your name at all. Hey, Jeep girl. Yes, Rosa Lang. It was Febreze. I'm sorry, Propagate This Light, but I don't recognize your username, and it's a very sensitive time right now, so I'm not going to add anybody up unless you show yourself. I won't put you on camera just so I can see you backstage, but other than that, sorry, I'm not going to let you up. Okay. So I remember Oscar Mayer, Meyer, not Mayer.
No, it doesn't look right.
It doesn't even look right.
Mm-mm.
How do you guys remember it? Prove you're not a Mandela Effect if you want to go on panel. That was funny, Megan. I really like that. Okay. Oh, you remember it Mayer? See, I swear I remember it. My baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. My baloney has a second name. It's Meyer. I don't remember it as Mayer. Yeah, Broken Justice. Well, as we go through it, we'll go through plausible theories, but the strange part about it is it's not that just so many people are not remembering it correctly. It's that they share a false collective memory. They specifically all remember it being one specific way. Hello, Miss Alex Erickson. Okay. Sketchers. I swore there was a T in Sketchers, like Sketchers, not Skeckers.
Okay, when did this one happen?
They always start, like, as time goes on, people start, like, there's been a few Mandela effects that flipped back. Like, we noticed it changed, and all of a sudden it flipped back to normal.
Yeah, the cat food. I forget. Frisky. No, not Friskies. Was it Friskies? I think it's Friskies. Friskies changed and then flipped back.
And Fruit Loops.
So but I haven't seen the Skechers one. It's definitely not right.
How do you remember
because
it?
I remember it with the T.
Yep.
Sketch. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for like words with silent letters and they just don't look right. And if you look at, I would remember that because of how weirdly it's spelled.
Yep. But Jennifer, remember, there isn't a T. Jennifer, I feel like you may have been in one of the chats when I was going through this, because you're one of them that remembers it the way that it is now, because you're remembering a lot of them the way that they are now. So this is very interesting. I love hearing the feedback.
It looks so weird.
Megan, I don't know, but there definitely seems to be some balonigans going on here. Okay, see here. Okay, here's Fruit Loops. At first, this flipped back to normal. Wait, did it flip back? Okay, so I remember. I don't know which way I remember it now, because now it flipped. Do you remember fruit being spelt normal, or do you remember fruit being spelt with two Fruit Loops?
So I remember 2 O's, but this is one of those ones that flip. I vividly remember this because when it changed to fruit, like spelled correctly, I argued till I was blue in the face that was wrong.
Yes.
This one has flipped.
Yes, it flipped back. Oh, sorry, Jennifer. So there's no T in Sketchers. I remember there being a T, Sketchers, but there's no T. So it's like Skeckers.
I'm telling you, I would remember that. Yeah. I would remember that.
Yeah, so this one. So, wait, so say it again, Brittany. Which way? How did it flip back?
Okay, so it originally started out, the origins of it was FROOT. And then it changed to fruit, the proper spelling. And then now it's back to FROOT again. Because when the last time I looked at this, it was fruit, like the proper way of spelling it.
Yeah.
And that's not right. Or at least that's not what I remember.
That's so weird. No, I remember. See, this one I don't remember vividly. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this one is of King Henry. A lot of people remembered King Henry, who was known to be this gluttonous king, had a turkey leg being held in his hand. But now he does not have a turkey leg. I don't know how many people this will resonate with. Do you remember a turkey leg or no turkey leg?
Okay, so I had to do a project in high school on this in the 10th grade, and he had a turkey leg in his hand because that was just one of the things that sticks out for me because there were a lot of jokes in class about it. They
all remember because he was a short, gluttonous king, and I remember they would make a joke out of it, like what king would get, because they had to stand there and get painted. There was no photos, and hold a turkey leg.
Yeah.
But no,
I vividly remember that.
Now, in this reality, in this timeline, no turkey leg is in his hand.
So you remember the turkey leg as well?
I remember, okay, so put it this way. I don't have a vivid memory of it, but when someone mentioned it to me, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then to think, no, it never happened. Like when someone said it to me, I recognized it. Like, yeah, I know that he had a turkey leg in his hand, but no turkey leg in Canada.
Yeah, I remember that because of that project.
I bet you wish you could get that project, huh?
Yeah, but if I did, it would be changed now.
It would be changed now. Okay.
And that's what bugs me.
This one bugs me. I remember the Monopoly guy having a monocle. Now, if you look up Halloween costumes for the Monopoly guy, they will always sell the costume with a freaking monocle. The Monopoly guy has no monocle, you guys. Tell me that one doesn't resonate with you.
Hey,
I'm
Melissa,
waiting. Yeah,
can you go look in the private chat?
sure.
So I remember the monocle for sure. I mean, I remember the monocle more than I do any of the other Mandela effects that we've covered so far. He had that monocle.
I remember vividly him having a monocle. Now I'm gonna also show something to you guys. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Rosaline, you're so right. You're so right. Because we went to the Renaissance Festival in 8th grade and they were talking about him and the symbolism.
And I'm gonna show you guys this. Okay. Monopoly guy, holla. These Monopoly guys, hold on. That's the KFC guy. Look at these Monopoly guys. As Halloween costumes, why are they always they're dressed up with a freaking monocle? Why do we always remember him with a monocle or have these Halloween costumes with the monocle if there was never a damn monocle? He dropped his monocles while running. Yes, see Alchemy by the Star? He had a monocle, man. What do you think, Brittany? But there are some without monocles, actually.
He had the monocle.
I swear he had the monocle.
Yeah.
The world is like YouTube crazy. I believe my childhood was a lie. Oh, just you wait, Michelle. Just you wait.
Yeah, when I first learned about this, I felt robbed.
Yeah.
But this is another one that I've asked so many people about, and it's been pretty consistent that they remember the monocle.
100%. Pikachu. I vividly remember Pikachu. Oh, we need Nikki B. I gotta message Nikki B because Linwood is obsessed with Pikachu, like Pokemon. I remember Pikachu having a black tail tip.
I clearly remember the tip, the black tip as well. If
I'm messaging Nikki to get Linwood. Tell me, you guys, Courtney, you remember? Hey, Susie G.
ever got into laser eye
surgery.
Oh, I never really got into Pokemon, but it was a thing growing up, and he just looks so plain, right?
He looks awkward, right? I remember, see, Rena, yes, he has a black tip, but he doesn't. The one on the right is a lie. Yeah, see, also, the stars. She's like, I'm gonna go check my kids' toys. But no matter how certain you are, when you go check the toys, in this reality at least, he would have never had a black tip.
Yeah, everything changes. Even the red at the other side of his tail. Do you see it? Like,
yes, right here
at the back. I don't remember that.
No, I don't remember it either. She's talking about right here, you guys. This looks awkward. He doesn't look complete.
That's what I'm saying. He's plain. Very plain.
Michelle.
Yeah, this particular topic will definitely make you question reality.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll come back if Linwood comes in. But let's see. Kit Kat. I vividly remember there being a dash between Kit and Kat.
So,
do you remember there being a dash between the word Kit and Kat?
Yes. I was a fat kid, and that was my candy bar. And I'm telling you, there was a dash in there.
I swear. Well, exactly, Irvin. And that's why I'm like, if you want to come up when we start talking about the theories and multiverses and stuff, feel free, because did something happen with it? This is probably CERN. This is probably what happened with that Hadron Collider as they're freaking blasting particles, colliding particles together at the speed of light, creating these small black holes. Something messed with our reality and did a shift on our timeline, because I swear I don't remember things this way.
I can't help but think it's linked to CERN.
I know. I'm telling you. You remember Ash, Courtney? Yeah. And the Kit Kat got smaller. Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to, when Irvin said freaking multiverse, man, I said it back to myself. It reminded me of someone out of the movie, the Pineapple Express, I think. He was like, freaking multiverse, man.
Yep. That's such a good. Megan, you're cracking me up. You guys are all cracking me up with your comments. Oh, absolutely, Amanda. Absolutely. Well, Irvin, Nelson Mandela was the first recorded Mandela effect. That's why it's named after him.
Amanda, just to go off of what you're saying, that's kind of what I'm meaning. Like, there's a theory that they're going back in time and they're changing things.
Yeah.
And it's affecting our reality now.
Or at one time, these things were this way, and there was some point in our reality around 2012 when there was a split, and basically we branched off, and now there's two parallel timelines occurring. In another reality, those things are the way we remember it. There is a dash between Kit Kat. But in our reality now that we are on, those things are not like that. Maybe, Amanda? Okay. This one bugs me.
Notice that too.
Fruit of the Loom. I distinctly remember the cornucopia. This one on the left, this is how I remember the brand Fruit of the Loom. All the fruit rolling out of the cornucopia. There is no cornucopia. There was never a cornucopia.
I too remember the cornucopia.
Come on, chat. You guys have to remember, like, do you guys remember the cornucopia or no cornucopia? Try to say that over and over again. It's a tongue twister of a word. You remember the cornucopia, Gina?
Yeah, this is another one that's been pretty consistent where I've noticed most people do.
Yeah.
Because look at the two pictures. I mean, the one on the right with no cornucopia, it looks so plain and empty.
You've never seen this in Australia, Susie? Really? It's called the Mandela Effects. Yeah, see, Lalaru? I very, very much remember I remember looking at the shirts, like a plain white t-shirt, Fruit of the Loom, and the tag, and it would have that logo with the cornucopia. I would love to. I will be doing a live specifically designated on time travel, and John Teeter is one of the stories I most definitely will be talking about. There's a lot of very interesting documented reports of what would appear as time travel. Why are they trying to confuse us like this? I know, Michelle. Okay. Cheez-Its. I remember Cheez-Its, not Cheez-It. Cheez-Its, not Cheez-It. Am I crazy? I am crazy. Brittany's gone. Well, chat, let me know. Am I really crazy? Do you guys remember it being Cheez-Its with a Z or Cheez-It, singular? It was always plural. Did I drop the link? Oh, I did. Am I crazy, Brittany?
No.
Ooh, Mary remembers it being singular.
No, I remember Cheez-Its with a Z. Now, with this one, though, I'm not 100% because this is one of those where maybe we have, deceived ourselves, because when you ask someone to get you those from the store, you'd be like, give me a box of Cheez-Its.
Yes.
Instead of Cheez-It, because it just doesn't sound right. So I'm not 100% on this one.
I'm not that, and that's what I thought. Like, okay, like if maybe this is one that you can chalk up to a logical explanation in regards to, can you hand me the box of Cheez-Its? You're not going to say, can you hand me the box of Cheez-It? So maybe, but I swear I remembered the Z.
But it does look funny, Cheez-It. So
told you, Alchemy by the Stars. Did you start digging through your kids' Pikachu stuffed animals and realize Black Cow never existed?
I have been there.
This one I don't really remember too vividly, but I would assume with double stuff Oreo, it would be double stuff with 2 F's, but it's not. It's like double stoof Oreo with 1 F.
I'm not sure about this one. I guess I'll go with you. It would seem more logical to have 2 F's.
Right? Like, why wouldn't it be? That's not how you spell stuff. Double stoof.
Double stoof.
Double stoof Oreo? No, it's double stoof Oreo, but it's not one that I like vividly have a memory of it being one way.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Okay. Now this one is freaky. I remember specifically about the Mona Lisa. And the reason that the picture was so famous is because she had an emotionless expression. She was not smiling nor frowning. It was just emotionless. Now she's smiling.
So I clearly remember an emotionless face, because you guys might recall this too, but like we've seen different videos or commercials or something where they'd superimpose her face and they would make her smile as a joke because her face was always emotionless.
So she always emotionless, not smiling or frowning.
If she were smiling, why would they put her in a video or something and make her smile? I always remember. I remember going to the museum as a child and thinking how freaky she was, because she just stared at you with this blank look on her face.
I mean, think about it, you guys. Anytime someone asked, well, how would you try to describe the Mona Lisa? You would say it's the woman and she has an emotionless face. Her lips were like pricked together and she wasn't smiling nor frowning. Now she's full on smiling. Like, she has a smirk on.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Okay, for all you Star Wars lovers out there, and there's going to be another major Star Wars one, but C-3PO. A lot of people didn't realize that one of his legs were silver.
This is my childhood. I will nerd out to some Star Wars in a minute. And he did not have a silver leg.
Yep. C-3PO has a single silver leg. Why? I don't know, but he did.
Yeah, no. Mm.
But there's a worse Star Wars one. And you know which one I'm talking about, Britt. This one bugs me.
Yeah, that one just pisses me off.
Well, he is gold, Courtney, but his right bottom shaft, oh my God, not shaft, calf. I don't know why I would say shaft. His bottom right calf is silver. I don't know why I just said that. Oh my God. You never watched Star Wars, Michelle? Oh, come on. They're classics. Okay.
Is anyone else in the chat a Star Wars fan?
I'm a Star Wars fan, yeah. I didn't get into it till later in life, though.
See, I knew I loved you.
Mm-hmm. Flintstones. I didn't realize there was 2 T's in it. I thought it was Flintstones, not Flintstones.
This is another one of my childhood moments, and I'm telling you, come on. Like, I feel like I don't even need to say anything on this one. My childhood did lie to me, Buttercup, because Flintstones didn't have 2 T's.
Flintstones has 2 T's now.
Do you remember that?
No, I thought it was Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. But no,
yes.
It's Flintstones.
Flintstones.
Oh, see, but Gina remembers 2. Wait, oh, heck no, not 2 T's. Yeah, 2 T's.
Right, just like that's what I was saying. You could just look at that and remember the theme song. That title
Flintstones
looks so off.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't with that one.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Okay. I just can't with that.
Anytime you say the color chartreuse, I remember chartreuse being a pink. But in reality, it's this color green. I swore it was pink. Do you remember chartreuse?
Nope. I'm lost on that, on both colors.
Yeah. You remember it being pink too, Courtney, huh? What's it called? Like anytime I heard the color chartreuse, I always think pink.
Why have I never heard this before? I feel.
Okay. Never green. Pink, I thought. See? Ooh, lime green. Okay. Well, yeah, that's not far up. You're a lot closer than I was. I thought it was pink. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Forrest Gump. I remember the famous line being, "Life is like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're going to get." Right? No. He actually says, "Life was like a box of chocolates."
That doesn't make sense. Why would you speak of it as in past tense for something that's in the present? Does that make sense? Like, why would I say life was like a box of chocolates and then say you never know what you're going to get in the present?
The only thing I could think of is, well, Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates, you know, but sorry, my accents are awful.
No, I love it. It's cute.
I always said life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Not life was like a box of chocolates. You guys are funny. No. You all just said no. No. No way. No. Laugh out loud. No. Like, I love it. Everyone see?
Yeah, I clearly and vividly remember life is like a box of chocolates.
Hey, Tia. So happy to see you here. We're going through Mandela Effects.
Oh.
If someone can do me a favor and drop Tia's link in the in the chat, that would be awesome. Everyone go check out and subscribe to Tia's channel. She is very, very good. Hi, Shelly.
Is her channel True Crime?
No, she does like she talks about a variety of topics, and then she also does makeup collabs, like with the makeup, and will show you the process of how to do specific styles, specific looks, while discussing whatever is going on within the community or true crime or whatnot. So I just found her myself, and I'm very excited.
Well, I will definitely go sub.
Okay.
I love it.
Thank you, Tia. Okay, so next. Okay. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I remember it being mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Nope. It's magic mirror on the wall. I don't remember. I remember it being mirror, mirror on the wall.
I remember mirror, mirror on the wall as well.
Right?
Magic mirror doesn't even sound right. I can hear the witch in my ear now.
Thank you, Rena.
Aw.
Right, Susie? It is not magic mirror on the wall. It's mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? That's what it's supposed to be. It's just awkward.
Mirror, mirror.
Mirror, mirror. Not magic mirror.
Say it back to yourself, like imagining the queen's voice. It's so wrong.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Again, I'm very bad with trying to.
She's like, magic mirror on the wall. I couldn't.
Magic mirror on the wall. No.
Yeah.
Bitch, it's
See, there you go.
On the wall. Like, don't deprive my childhood. Don't you dare do that to me. I remember that. Gina, if the dang mirror is talking, then it's obviously magic. You don't have to point it out.
Exactly. It makes no sense.
But here's the thing, Susie, because like I said, you're going to find, like it's okay if some of them it's like, I thought I remembered it differently, but you're going to find a couple that really resonate with you. And you're going to be like, no, I will go back to my VHS and I will pull it out and put it in. And it was going to, nope. For some reason, there is no evidence of it ever being that way on this timeline.
And there's no feeling like pulling that DVD out and it saying exactly what you just seen on the internet. Like you're just so sure you were right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I literally, the first time it happened to me, like I just sat in my living room floor and just stared at the wall for like an hour.
My whole childhood was a lie.
Yeah.
That's what Michelle just said. I'm confident my childhood was a lie. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Even if you have never seen Star Wars, you know the famous line, Luke, I am your father. Nope. Nope. Didn't say it. In reality, he said, no, I am your father. Like, and thank you, Rena, for dropping Alchemy by the Stars' thing. Thank you so much. My mods are the best. Thank you. Did Brittany drop out again? She did. Always leaving me on the good ones. Come on, you guys. That's just so wrong. It always was, Luke, I am your father. Nope. And even James Earl Jones, if you go, hi Alexis, if you go and watch interviews with him, when he recites this line, he says, Luke, I am your father. But that's not even what was said in the movie. He says, no, I am your father. And if anyone in the chat can drop Megan J's channel link also, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Right, Tia?
That doesn't make any sense either.
Hand it to us, Brittany.
Is my sound okay? Because my phone is glitching out over here.
It's okay. I have a little bit of an echo, but it's fine.
Okay. I was just saying, like, this one really pisses me off because why he just looks at him and says, no, I am your father. He said Luke.
He said Luke.
Okay, and think about. I'm sorry.
Go. Do it, girl.
Just think about all of the movies and TV shows that have referenced this exact line, and why have none of them ever said, no, I am your father? They always say the same thing. Luke.
I didn't get into Star Wars, unfortunately, until a couple of years ago. Like, really, I didn't even. But before I ever even watched it, I'm sorry, Propagate the Light, you're not going to come up unless you could show me who you are behind, like, show me who you are real quick behind stage, or else you're not coming up. It was... All right, sorry. It was Luke, I am your father. And they even sell the little thing on Christmas, like Christmas ornaments where you could press a button, and even those say, Luke, I am your father. But, like, what? Thank you, Jennifer. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
This is probably one of the biggest ones for me, I think.
It just, like, what do you mean?
Mind-blowing.
Never said. What do you mean? I remember James Earl's voice. Luke, I am your father. That is what was said.
Is there anyone in the chat that remembers no?
Does anybody remember no? Sorry, I'm just scrolling up trying to look for something.
Oh, it's okay. I can't look in the chat because I throw myself out of the live every time I do. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's me. So I'm just going to refrain from looking in the chat.
Nelson Mandela died. What's it called? He died in 2013, but a lot of people remember him die in the 80s. Sorry, hold on. I'm sorry, Propagate This Light. I can't click your Instagram link right now to see your photo. Maybe we could plan it out for the next time, but there's so much drama going on right now that I'm not going to risk letting someone up that I've never seen in my chat before. Don't take it personally. There's just a lot going on. Bryn, so good to see you.
Aw, hi, Bryn. Well, not just the drama, but you know, there's that streaker going around and showing his wang to everybody and on everybody's live, and nobody wants to see that.
It's so... I'm sorry, like, this one still just blows my mind. Okay, next.
I thought it bothered me.
No, that one really bothers me. I don't really remember. I mean, I watched Lord of the Rings, but this isn't something that I really remember, so I'm not going to have passion for it. But run, you fools, was apparently a very famous line, but he never says that. He says, fly, you fools. Sorry, I have no passion behind this one because I don't remember.
Don't come for me, but I've never watched any of the Lord of the Rings movies or read the books, so I can tell you that he I think he played in Harry Potter, or it was the other one, or whatever. I could tell you about Harry Potter all day long, but not this one. I heard it was a good movie and a book, though.
My mom was obsessed with this, and she would have little Schmeagol characters all over the house, but it's not something I would remember. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. So let's move on because it doesn't seem like anyone's that passionate about this one. Okay, this one bugs me. Silence of the Lambs. The famous line from the first movie as Clarice is walking up to Hannibal's jail cell. The famous line is, "Hello, Clarice." Never happened.
I remember that one.
Never happened.
I could hear it now. Hello, Clarice.
He said, ready for this? Good morning.
No.
Bitch, what? No, he did not. It is, what, Shelly? I'm sorry. Yeah, right, Courtney? It is, hello, Clarice. Hello, Clarice. Not good morning.
Can't you hear him saying it? Hello, Clarice. I hear him saying,
hello, Dawn. So lovely to see you.
Yeah, I can vividly remember that one. Like, to this day, my husband will still joke around and say that when I walk in the room. It
rubs the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose again.
Oh, my God. That's what nightmares are made of.
Of course, Megan. He said, I remember friggin' Clarice walking up with the heels clanking against the floor, the long hall, and then she turns to the left and there's Hannibal and he goes, hello, Clarice. You're telling me that didn't happen? And not only telling me that didn't happen, you're telling me we all collectively have this false memory.
Yeah, that's what's so mind-blowing.
Hello, Sunshine Blanca. I just wanted to say that I heard the story on the other panel earlier, and that was so brave of you to share. And I want to let you know that my prayers are with you. And thank you for sharing that because it really did. It affected me at least, and I was very appreciative.
What?
What? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Alchemy, that was pretty much my reaction as well.
It's just like, come on. Yes, Shelly. Shelly gets it. Okay. All right. Now this one, I kind of think we could find a plausible explanation for. We are the champions, my friends. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. I remember the song going, we are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers because we are the champions. Dun, dun, dun. Of the world. They're saying that of the world never existed. But on the official albums, and if you play it on the radio, it really doesn't exist. It just goes, we are the champions, dun, 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 and it just ends there. But when they played at Live Aid, when they played their live performances, Freddie Mercury does end it off with of the world. But still, I feel like, Dawn. Yes, Alexis, we'll get to that one. We'll definitely get to that one. Sorry, I want to highlight so many comments. Thank you so much. We share out story in order to help others. I'm really passionate about the issue. My daughter's so strong. Oh, absolutely, Sunshine. And I think it was a story that everybody desperately needed to hear. Especially with all the ugliness that's going around. So me personally, it impacted me, and I was so appreciative that you were strong enough and willing to share that story with us. But yeah, of the world, like,
I just want to say thank you as well. Thank you for that. I remember Of the World, definitely. And how dare they desecrate Freddie Mercury like that? Because it was Of the World.
I love me some Freddie. So yeah, he would sing it during live concerts, but on, like, if you bought the CD or something, it wouldn't end that way. It would just be like, and we are the champions, dun dun dun, and just cut it off there.
I can hear it now. I know I keep saying that, but I can hear it exactly how it ended.
But okay, I'll accept a plausible explanation for that one, as maybe just hearing him singing it live and whatnot, that's how we automatically sing it.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely could say that.
Mr. Rogers' theme song. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right? Wrong. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Does anybody remember it that way?
I remember the neighborhood, right?
I remember in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Nope. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Sorry, Buttercup, I don't know what you're asking. Sorry for asking, but what panel was If I Would Love to Watch It? Right, Lalaroo? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. No, I remember he would be taking off his shoes and with his long socks and putting his coat away in the saying it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. No, he's saying it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Come again.
That even changes the tune of the song a little bit to say this neighborhood. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She said, oh, hell no.
I sent you the lyrics.
I know that's right.
Oh, of course, Sunshine Blanca. That would be okay. I didn't know that that's what you meant, Buttercup. It was over at Mr. Shares. He did a live tonight to try to stop the bullying and whatnot. And Sunshine Blanca was nice enough and strong enough to share an experience she had and a story with us. So I would definitely suggest everyone to go check that out. So yeah.
Sunshine, I actually just want to say I think that you so bravely sharing your story will serve to help a lot of others who maybe are struggling, or for those who are taking part in, the mob. Maybe it'll make people think twice before they say things that hurt others. So thank you for doing that.
Okay, Dawn. So, Dawn sent me the lyrics, which I love, Dawn. Thank you for that. But you have to go down to the end. So I'm not talking about Of the World throughout the song. It's the end of the song. Does it end with Of the World? And yes, thank you again for everyone being so very respectful. But thank you so much to my mods. You guys are amazing. But Mr. Rogers said it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, not in this neighborhood. Okay. This might sound crazy, but for the longest time, I really did believe that there was 52 states. I thought there was 50 states plus the 2, which was Hawaii and Alaska. A lot of people do have a false memory of there being 52 states in the US. Have you ever heard of that, Britt?
Yes.
So do you remember there being 52 states ever at some point in your life?
Yeah, pretty much all of my life, I thought, right? I mean,
no, but there's only 50. And a lot of people know there's 50 because of the 50 Nifty song.
He said 52 states, and you're right, and they mauled him for that. I don't know how I didn't catch on to that, but I'm guilty. I'm one of those ones that thought 52.
See, Dawn? I told you. See, okay, Gailey, only 50. Like, I know now there's only 50, but there was a point where I was thinking there was 52. Maybe I was just getting it mistaken because Hawaii and Alaska, or as Bryn said, it was because of DC and Puerto Rico, maybe. But
I always thought, I remember like saying, even it being instructed to me, well, technically, you know, we do have we say 50 states in the songs and things like that, but technically there's 52.
yeah. Well, Dawn, see,
I
I remember it being a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So you just said that Google gave it to you as a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Hello, Dylan. Sorry, go on,
no,
Britt.
like all you have to do is listen to it, and if he's saying this neighborhood, it sounds wrong.
It does.
It sounds so wrong. This 52 states thing has me feeling crazy because I'm telling you, I vividly have, I don't know. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but
no, but it's not. This isn't just one person. It's a collective group of people who have this false memory. I'm telling you.
well, thank you, Michelle. I feel better because I'm over here like thinking I need to maybe go back myself.
Okay. Now here we go.
All right.
Where's Irvin? I know he's driving, but a large group of people remember a movie called Sinbad. I mean, not a movie, a movie called Kazam, starring Sinbad as a genie. These people remember the exact storyline, what the cover of the movie looked like, but the movie just doesn't exist.
Okay, so I remember this movie. I remember watching this movie with my brothers multiple times. He was a genie. There was a little boy in the movie. I think they were in a shopping mall at one point. I can remember what the little boy looks like in that movie. I thought I seen someone in the chat say Shaq played a genie. That's a totally different movie that I remember.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. This one was called Shazam, but there was a movie called Kazam that Shaq did play. He wasn't a genie or anything, I don't think, in it. But people are like, no. We remember it was Sinbad. It was called Shazam. And you remember his whole outfit and everything.
Yes,
see?
I even remember, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm almost certain that it aired on the Disney Channel because my brothers and I, we were Disney buffs when we were kids, and we watched that movie multiple times. Do y'all remember if it was on the Disney Channel?
I'm not sure.
I'm almost certain it was.
I remember, like, it to me, I like, yeah, it sounds familiar, but it isn't something that I would have been like, yes, I've watched that. Exactly, Rosalind.
Yeah, of all of every one of the Mandela effects that we've covered, I'm sure of this one. There's no way that you can have a false sense of not only the movie, but the plot, the characters. And I'm sorry, Shaq and Sinbad do not look anything alike. There's no way you're going to get those two confused. It was Sinbad.
Yep. And people really remember this.
I want to say it was the Disney Channel. The only reason I say that is because we only watched it a couple times, and if we had it like on DVD or something like that, I would see it more than that. But they built this movie up. Like Disney has those
Dawn.
TV movies, you know, like and I could be wrong on that, but I remember watching that movie.
Yeah, they used to have the movie. Remember the movie Smart House? Disney came out before we had big technology. It would be a house that was basically robotic, kind of like how we have now, where like you could talk to it and stuff. Like Disney would put out those movies.
Yeah, Melissa, when that was around the same time that this one came out, when that Smart House movie came out.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I even remember watching it with my brothers. I'll ask my brothers if they remember. I'm sure they do.
Now, this one I don't really resonate that much with. A lot of people believe the name was Smokey the Bear, but it's not. It's just Smokey Bear.
I don't have a play in this one. I'm not sure.
I don't. Who still has a DVD player?
It's got to be connected to MK Ultras.
Or it's like a shift in the timeline, you know, or we're living in a multiverse. I don't know. We're going to go through theories after. Alex,
You know,
what?
We've been.
Jennifer, what? Oh my God. Yeah, it was Smokey the Bear, not Smokey Bear. It was the bear. See, the bear, Smokey the Bear.
Do you remember?
Not really. Not enough for me to be passionate about it.
Yeah.
I always heard Smokey the Bear. Let's see. Okay.
Oh.
I remember this. Tank Man. And I'm just going to read the description. And perhaps the most memorable moment during the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests. Protests? Recollections of the event vary. Some say the unidentified man known as the Tank Man was run over and killed, but other videos show him moving away from the scene. Now, I remember this. If anyone remembers this image, this guy walked out in front of these tanks to basically stop and show we need to stop going to war. Enough is enough. A large group of people remember watching the tanks run him over. That's what I remember. But I was too young to watch it live. I just remember hearing about it because it was such a big statement.
I remember the tanks running him over as well.
You do?
But yeah, but I want to. Isn't that China? Was it China?
Is it bad that I don't know where the Tiananmen Square is?
I want to say it's China, but somebody in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong.
They will.
Good. I want to know because I'm not 100% on that.
You don't remember this, Courtney, but you're from Canada, so that's probably why. Well, actually, no, because it didn't even happen in the U.S. So.
Well, I was thinking like if it is China, like I'm thinking, or like some communist nation.
You were right.
Okay. Well, the reason that I say that is,
see,
it is possible that they've scrubbed the internet and they've altered the video. I mean, so we could say, you know, that could just be the CCP doing what they do. But
I see Buttercup says I watched it and the tanks did run over him. And I remember learning that because it was such a big statement for this one small guy to go in front of those army tanks and say no more.
Yeah.
And I thought I remembered the tanks running him over, but apparently he didn't. See, Rosalang, I do not recall him being run over. Interesting. Neil Armstrong's death. Oddly enough, people had no recollection of the aeronautics legend's death. Many fans apparently forgot or didn't notice the news of him passing back in August 2002. Wow, wait, Bryn, really? I was there 1 year before it happened. He was killed along with many others. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Really? Okay, so that changes everything for me.
Wow.
Okay, can I just say, like, let's revert back to the last live where I mentioned clones and replacements. Who's to say that he wasn't going to talk and they had to get rid of him?
Wow.
That's wild. See, we were young.
Yeah, I was really young.
What year did you say that was?
I'm not sure what year that was. It didn't. Let me go back. Oh, 1989. So I wasn't even born yet.
No, with Neil Armstrong.
Oh, Neil Armstrong. He
supposedly
died
died.
in 2012.
2012. Oh, well, never mind. No, we were not that young. I don't remember that.
See, I only know it because I love space and everything to do with it. But it's almost kind of like it went unnoticed. But at the same time, everything with Neil Armstrong was kind of hush hush. You know, I know we'll get into the moon landings during a live, but a lot of people allege that, and I know we touched upon this, that when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin went to the moon, that there was already crafts there and some kind of extraterrestrial beings. And basically, if you even go back to, they did an interview with them as soon as they landed back from the moon, you would think this was a huge feat. This was amazing. These men went to the moon and came back safely, that they would be thrilled. And these 3 astronauts were stone cold face, as if they experienced something or they knew something and they weren't allowed to talk about it. And Neil Armstrong was very hush hush ever since he came back from the moon. And so, hey, Larry. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe people didn't notice because they weren't publicly putting it out that much, or it could just be another simple Mandela effect.
That really bothers me because I love space as well. And I like, how do you miss that? You know, he did act really bizarre when he come back from the moon landing, though.
He did.
Like he was traumatized or something.
When we go through like the moon landing conspiracies and stuff, I'll show you guys the interview. If these 3 guys were able to go to space, go to the moon, land on the moon, and return, this was huge. It was, you know, during the Cold War, it was during the space race, you know, between us and Russia. And it was the biggest, I mean, like, you have to remember back then we had no technology like that. It was this huge accomplishment. You would think that the first interview that these 3 did, you would be thrilled. They would be ecstatic that they were even still alive. But instead, they were very stone cold, very just down. And a lot of people think that that's because they either experienced something or witnessed something when they were on the moon, and they were told that they that they couldn't discuss it. So that would be traumatizing. Yeah, you could drop Larry's link. Everyone go subscribe to executive. Now, see, I'm so used to saying just Larry, but executive session. Oh yeah, Larry, we got into Operation Northwoods last live. We did MK Ultra, Operation Northwoods, Operation Paperclip, Project Blue Book. We did a bunch of good things.
Well, you said we're going to go back into that anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you're not finished with it.
No, not. Now this, I don't really know Billy Graham's death. Like Mandela, many can't place when Billy Graham's funeral aired on TV. That's probably because it didn't happen long ago. He died in February 2018. I don't remember this whatsoever to say one way or another.
I remember when he died. I just don't think there was a lot about it aired on TV that I'm aware of anyway.
Agreed. Okay, let's go to the next one. Mother Teresa's canonization. People have strong opinions about when Mother Teresa was canonized as saint. The real event happened in 2016, but many remember her entering sainthood in the 1990s while she was still alive. And I thought Mother Teresa was a saint. I remember growing up when I was in religion, it would be Saint Mother Teresa. It's Brittany J, allegedly with Brittany J. Oh, Bryn, good luck with that. Once you do the moon landing rabbit hole, like it's just because you start to question everything.
We have to figure out this name thing because I know that there's a way to do it.
Yeah, there should be able to. see our names on the panel. But I don't know.
It's probably something that I'm doing wrong.
No,
I'll
it's not.
mess with
I'm
them.
the one who
can
controls
research
it.
Yeah, I know, but it does give me like an option to put in my title or whatever, and I've done that, but who knows?
You'll guys,
now,
as time goes on, Brittany is kind of my partner in crime, so you'll start to realize it's Brittany J.
I don't remember this particular one, so I'm gonna. I don't have an opinion on it.
Hold on. Let me see if I stop the banner and then comments.
Well, it's okay.
Does it
Okay.
show our name?
Yeah, it's. I see it. But I know you like to pin comments, though. So like if somebody asks, we can just tell them.
Like at least we know.
Yeah.
She is. Brittany is very sweet. Oh, look, both people said Brittany's a sweetheart. Thank you, Rena.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are more. Yeah, I love all this type of stuff, and that's why I was struggling. I was like, well, I love true crime and I want my channel to be about true crime, but I also want it to be about all the things that interest me. And I wasn't sure that people were gonna follow it and be interested, but more people are than I realized.
Yeah, actually seeing how many people are interested in the same topics, it gives me hope because I was just telling Melissa earlier, I always felt like it was a small minority of people that were so aware of the things going on around us, but this is pretty awesome.
Welcome, Janessa. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. Though the tragic accident took place on January 28, 1986, there are a number of people who thought it happened in 1984 and 1985. That's not one that I would remember that because I wasn't born yet, but it is.
I was only a year old, so I guess I'm out of this one.
Okay, the Lindbergh baby. When aviator Charles Lindbergh's infant son was kidnapped, the entire world focused their attention on the story. Many remember the case going cold, but they sadly found the body and sentenced the killer to death for the heinous crime. I remember learning about the Lindbergh baby and the kidnapping, and I swear they'd never found the baby. Really, Larry? Huh. Oh, Shelley Love was in 4th grade too. Sofita Galino's class. Do you guys remember the Lindbergh baby? And do you remember the baby ever being found?
I don't remember this one, but I have heard about it.
I remember how sensationalized it was. And the reason is because they never ended up finding the baby or the killer. But no, the baby was found. Yeah. So weird. Oh, Buttercup, that's so sweet.
So what was the story on it? Somebody just kidnapped the baby and killed him?
Yeah, I don't know if it was for like ransom or something, but it was so sensationalized because it was Charles Lindbergh and they're very upper class with money and stuff. And it was on the cover of all the newspapers. But I swear I remember when I learned about it that the baby was never found. But no, the baby was found and the killer was sentenced.
Wow. How sad.
Okay. Patrick Swayze. As we're getting into later ones, these aren't as interesting because there's really interesting ones. Like, what's the famous "I Love Lucy" line by Ricky Ricardo?
Oh, yeah, you got some explaining to do or something like that.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do. He never said it.
I watched that. No, he said that. I'm sorry. I will argue that one. I watched that show when I was little, and
I know.
I can't with this.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do. No.
See, you vividly remember as well.
Yes. A lot of us vividly remember that. It never happened. Babaloo! Yes, we're discussing the Mandela Effects, Larry.
Is that just Larry?
Yes, he changed his name.
Okay. Cool.
Executive Session.
Wait a minute, is it a new channel too?
No, I think he just started a different name, and
Okay.
I like it because it's a way to get like kind of a fresh start, and like if you want to change your vibe or change the direction, a new name is always a nice way to go about it, in my opinion.
Hey, I'm all for it.
I don't know, Tia. That's the big question, and that's what we're about to discuss. Where are all of these collective false memories coming from?
And why?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And how is it so many people?
Right. So it's not like, I never remembered it this way, or I remembered it this way. How is such a large portion of the population sharing this same false memory? So they're specifically remembering it a different way. So were we once living in a timeline, in a reality where these things were once this way? And then something happened, whether it be CERN with the Hadron Collider, blasting particles, smashing them together at the speed of light, creating small black holes. Did something happen where there was a shift in our timeline and it branched off? And simultaneously, as we are currently in this reality, there is an alternate reality happening simultaneously where these things are like that? Or did something happen altogether where we jumped back in time, and it's the butterfly effect? When you change one little thing, it's the ripple, and other things changed? We don't know. Okay, let's see if this one's just silly. A lot of people remember Leonardo DiCaprio having his first Oscar a lot sooner than he actually did. Okay, what about this? The location of Disney World Castle. If you've ever been to Magic Kingdom, do you recall where the castle was located? Some, even one Orlando local on Reddit, clearly remembers it being to the entrance of the park. A lot of people thought when you first went to Disney World, as soon as you entered, there was Cinderella's castle. Well, exactly, Susie.
I'm not sure about this one.
I don't know. So let me think, what other ones do I remember off the top of my head? Because this list got dull quickly.
What about the ones that flip-flopped? Are there any of those?
Okay, I don't know. Hold on. I know that, okay, Risky Business. You guys know Risky Business, right? The movie with Tom Cruise. The vivid memory of Tom Cruise sliding across the living room floor with his oversized white tee and socks and his sunglasses on, right? How many people dressed up like that from Risky Business for Halloween? But he never was wearing the sunglasses.
There were so many references in videos and movie or shows as well.
Yes.
Of that same scene.
Okay, so look, he's not wearing sunglasses, okay?
That doesn't even look right.
But watch this. If you go to any Halloween costume from Risky Business, why do all of these people have sunglasses on? Can you tell me? If he wasn't wearing sunglasses in it, why are we all sharing this false memory of him wearing sunglasses?
That one's mine.
Larry, we went through the Monopoly Man monocle one. It just made us mad. Like,
yeah,
he wasn't wearing sunglasses.
Wasn't it in that exact scene that he actually grabs the sunglasses and puts them on his face? Or am I just...
it was either he puts them on his face or he takes them off and throws them. Something.
Yeah.
He's not wearing them. Really, Larry? Do you want to come up? I'll post the link because now, you know, we're trying to get into theories.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What do you think can be causing a collective group of people sharing the same false memory, Britt?
So it's either alternate universes, like different realities, or it's my theory with the whole CERN. They have the control to go back in time and alter things and shift our reality. But the different dimensions, and I mean, why not, right? This world is, or this universe is massive.
Of course.
So,
and Janessa, of course you could ask a weird question. I love weird questions.
I'm pretty much open to anything at this point as far as, you know, I try to keep an open mind about things, basically.
Absolutely. So just to give you an idea of what a multiverse is, you guys, since I won't be able to explain it perfect enough for you guys to understand, I'll just read it off for you guys. So the multiverse is a hypothetical group of multiple universes. Together, these universes comprise everything that exists, the entirety of space, time, matter, energy, information, and the physical laws and constants that describe them. So basically, we are living in our universe right now, right? But they theorize that basically there's a bunch of bubbles all around us, and within each bubble is an entire universe in itself. So it's not just our universe, and within our universe is a constantly ever expanding universe. It is constantly growing and it is infinite, meaning we are not able to determine if it ever ends. And so there could be like many of them happening all around us all at once. Hello, Larry.
Good evening, ladies.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm tired. A busy, long night. Came home. Haven't caught up on anything and saw you were live.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. Go ahead, Larry.
I didn't know if that was me or not. I got my earbuds in, so sometimes they mess up. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make this quick. I didn't mean to jump on, but
no, not at all.
What you're talking about brings up something that you guys are gonna... I shouldn't even be talking about it because everyone's gonna think I'm literally insane after I mention it.
Not here. Trust me.
Well, when talking about alternative, universes and all that stuff, I was 12 years old. All I cared about was whether or not it was going to rain on my, baseball day and our game was going to get canceled. So I clearly had no political or thoughts about the universe, and I didn't care about any of that. And I actually got in a bad car accident when I was 12.
Wow.
Yeah, a friend of the family took me with my father's brand new car to McDonald's, and I talked her into letting me drive the car. And we went down a huge hill out in the country. Basically, I drove off a bridge and was airborne, and we hit a tree that actually stopped us from going over the ravine into the river. But I broke my femur. I was in the hospital for 3 months, 2 surgeries.
Oh.
It was really bad. But one night, I had a dream, and I swear to this day, it was the wildest, most vivid, real dream, as if I was in another world, and I was watching my parents. I was watching my parents at my funeral, and I had died in the car accident, and they were mourning me and the whole nine, and it was the realest, craziest dream ever. And I woke up sweating, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no, I'm alive. And something about it sounds stupid, but something about it stuck with me forever. And then as I became older and got into college and started hearing about these different theories, I always in my life have wondered, is there alternate worlds? And did I die in that car accident? And there's another world where my parents have lived on without me, and I'm actually dead, but I survived in this world. And again, that sounds
doesn't sound
insane.
crazy. No, that doesn't sound insane at all, because the scientists today, as much as we've learned and advanced with technology, the most plausible theory we have today is the multiverse theory, which basically means at any given moment, you always have a choice to make. I could end this live stream right now, or I can continue it. So basically they're saying any possible choice that you could ever made is currently happening simultaneously. So there's another universe happening right now where I decided to shut and end this live stream right now. And in this reality, I decided to stay on. And then from there, you make another choice, and basically you branch out, and all simultaneously, all at once right now, we are living in a bunch of different realities, just different timelines.
It's crazy. I was watching a TikTok the other day that I wish I saved it, because you would have loved it, and I forget what it was. It goes over my head. I'm not as smart as you. But it was all about some study that apparently they did with, basically with light and then with water, and they took two boards with slits in them.
The double slit experiment.
Is that what it is? Where they kind of were one, and they still can't explain how, like, the ripples after they go through, then, and it basically proved that 100% it's possible to have alternate, these different worlds. Again, I'm not explaining that right. I'm sorry, I sound so stupid.
I knew exactly what you're talking about.
It blows my mind. I wish I knew more about it, but then again, that's probably why I have anxiety and all that stuff, because I think too deep. And think they say ignorance is bliss. It really is.
Well, no, because the double slit experiment is whether light is it's defined as a wave or a particle.
Yes.
Matter usually has to be either one or the other, but what the double slit experiment proved is that it could be both, depending on who's looking at it. So basically, depending on the observer, it determines whether it's a particle or a wave. And it's so hard to try to explain if nobody's ever looked into the double slit experiment, but it opens up a world of possibilities, meaning that reality, the way we perceive reality, it all depends on the observer. So see, now I didn't prepare for this. Now
no, I'm actually, you don't even have to worry. I'm even just absolutely shocked that you knew what I was talking about.
Oh, yes.
Because I had no idea
it's a very big experiment, actually. And I suggest everyone look into the double slit experiment, because it was a massive feat in regards to our science, like in regards to science and understanding things. And it's not nor a particle nor a wave. It's both, depending on the observer. And I'd have to get into a whole live about that, but I would love to, because I'm glad you brought that up. So basically, you may have been tapping in to another reality, and this comes back to kind of the whole deja vu. Well, why do you feel deja vu? That feeling of I've been here before, I've experienced this before, or you could smell something and it brings back this memory. Well, who's to say that there isn't an alternate reality right now that is simultaneously happening along our reality, where you did die in that car accident and you're just not tapping into that?
No, that's right. It's frightening, but it's also crazy. And again, something was, we all know we have crazy dreams all the time, some that we remember and then we don't. And then even if we do, we forget them in a few days at least. And for some reason, that one at just 12 years old has stuck with me my whole life, that it was that profound. And I don't know. I've always just thought that something else is out. I mean, there's so much. If you think of our brains and how new we are, and I think that's, there's so much we don't know. And a lot of people ask, like, oh, that sounds crazy. That's such a conspiracy theory. And it's like, what's so conspiracy about it? We don't know so much. Like we have no idea what I mean, if we only knew, like how Stephen Hawking, I mean, I've always loved him,
Yes.
and
Yes.
some of the things he said. When I got in politics, believe it or not, one of my mentors was this old guy. He used to be the mayor of the city that I live in, gosh, back in like the 60s. So he was old, but he was always into physics and all. And I used to be like, why? What's that got to do with politics and this and that? But he was like enamored in it. And unfortunately, he's passed away now. But yeah, I wish I got to ask him more questions, because I used to just think he was nuts. And now that I'm older, I'm like, man, he was obviously a very smart man.
No, absolutely. And it's something that I didn't really start to become fascinated with until I got older, and I would go to sleep listening to Stephen Hawking theories or Einstein's theory of relativity. And this is what I try to explain to everyone. It's like, everyone likes to think about superpowers or how cool it'd be if you could do this. And what people don't understand is the more we learn about quantum physics, the more we learn about the scientific laws that our reality has to obey is not necessarily the scientific laws that other realities have to obey. We are currently three-dimensional beings, but we have verified that we are at least living in a 21 different dimensional world. So that's 21 dimensions that are currently happening right now, but we're only perceiving 3 of them. We're slowly transitioning into 4D, and what we believe is the 4th dimension is time. But you also have to remember that time is relative. Time is something that we as humans made up. Time doesn't exist.
I was going to say, it doesn't. I always thought that, even as a kid, I remember that thinking deep when people would talk about time. I'm like, what is time? Because I mean, we created the clock. We created what, we could, hypothetical, very real. I mean, we could turn around tomorrow and say, okay, world, we're going to say that a minute has 45 seconds instead of 60. It would make no difference. It's just a human created thing.
Time is relative. Time is relative. And that's why I love talking about, well, imagine if we could, time travel. Well, we can. I've explained this before. If you are on a planet however many light years away from us right now, and they had a ginormous telescope to where they could look at Earth, they would see right now dinosaurs, because that's how long it takes for light to travel. So even though that's in our past, they would currently see it now in their present. Time is all relative. It's a man-made conception, concept, not conception. But
well, that's to put it in simpler terms, to make any doubters, that say, well, that sounds crazy, dinosaurs. Well, we all commonly accept that the stars we're looking at no longer exist. So it's the same thing. It's just light that we're seeing. So if they had like you're saying, that's a great analogy. If they had a telescope and they were looking, and of course, in order to see something, light would have to be present. And yes, they would see dinosaurs or whatever it was at that time that they're catching it. You're right. That's crazy.
That's how long it takes to light to travel. And and this is light years, so nothing, as of now, nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. We know that, but that makes you think, okay, well, if I was on that planet looking back onto Earth, we know that that's our past, but they would experience that in their present. Time is all relative depending where you are. So it's a man-made concept. All we know is, yes, within 24 hours, do we rotate enough to where the sun rises and the sun sets? Yes. But we created that concept just so it's easier for us as humans to survive and to live the everyday life. We like the routine, and it's easier to understand when we have something like time. But time is not a fixed thing. And it's crazy when you start to look into this, and even starting to go down the, Einstein's theory of relativity. Once you really start looking at it, you realize, wow, this is more fascinating than any make-believe movie could be. This is real life, because once you realize that time is relative, you start to realize that you can actually time travel. Now, yes, there's going to be certain paradoxes as well. What if I travel back in time and shoot my grandfather in the head, well, then I would cease to exist. There are certain paradoxes where it won't work, but you have to remember that's not the way time travel works. It's not like you could, go through a door and you're going to go back to the ground. No, it's all happening around us at the same time. It's just a matter of tapping into it. It's so hard to explain. I wasn't prepared for that tonight.
No, you're right. Have you ever, and gosh, I can't think of his name now. He was, I think, the Secretary of Defense for Canada. He's
Yes.
the only he's the only person in the history that was ever a member of the G5 or whatever it is that has actually spoken out. And they call him crazy. He's not crazy. I mean, this is a guy that was literally up there with the most powerful people in the world. And he has come out and spoken about, extraterrestrials, aliens, and
we are currently in contact.
They're already in
different
contact.
Alien species. Correct.
And now we're starting to see the mainstream media and the government starting to slowly
slowly leak out the information. Correct.
Which makes me think, why are they desensitizing us slowly to it after all these years of totally denying it? That tells me something's coming. That
there's going to be some form of a false flag. Honestly, what I think is they're going to make us believe that there is a threat of an alien invasion. The same way with this coronavirus, I'm not saying the people aren't sick and it doesn't exist. What I'm saying is this was an experiment to see how easily we will obey. Do not leave your house. Do not see your loved ones. You are not allowed to go here. You're not allowed to go there. You have to wear a mask. And what did we do? We obeyed. And they're slowly leaking out information to get us prepared.
I hate to say it. I agree with it. I had this conversation last night with my best friend on the phone, and I'm like, dude, we could have just had a freaking live and people would have loved it. And he's like, he's like, I'll never go on YouTube and that stuff. But he said the same thing. He goes, this is, and I told him, I said, look, I get all that. I go, what I don't like is when people say, well, the coronavirus, the virus is fake. It is not. It is real.
No, people are sick.
I do believe it was man-made, and I do believe that they are using it, like you said, to see. And I think even the overlords, or whatever you want to call them, the people that control the world, are absolutely shocked at how easy it was to do what they wanted to do.
We obeyed. Just like that. We didn't go see our loved ones. It wasn't that long ago. We would not even go and see our loved ones. We would have to see them from a distance. We would have to do the drive-by birthday parties. Think about that. We'd do the honk. All the family members used to drive by in their cars and do the honk and just hand out the presents. We obeyed them like sheeps, okay? So why wouldn't they move forward and do? I mean, think about just the natural evolution of technology. There's no reason that we should still be using gas or diesel or oil for our cars. We should be way past that. The reason that they're not going to let us know about this technology is because of money. The oil and the gas industry is one of the biggest money maker in the world, okay? So not only do they not want to eliminate, because again, this goes back to Bob Lazar, element 115, anti-gravity, no propulsion. Yep. They also don't want to, once you release that technology, you also have to understand that technology then gets into the hands of your enemy. And
look how far ahead. I mean, look at Tesla, for example, Nikola Tesla. I mean, the guy died in a hotel in New York City as a pauper. He was, and you think of what he invented, and still to this day, we have not. It's just been gone, disappeared. Nobody's asking questions.
They took all of his notes. They took everything.
It was ridiculous, and that's why I'm not to go. I guess to kind of go back onto something that we've all been discussing. True crime. And with the Watts case, for example, I get called a big conspiracy theorist crazy. And my biggest frustration in the case is I think we're all looking in the wrong direction. And the overlords of what really happened are actually laughing when we keep talking about NK. We keep talking about all these, who this, that, the other, who did this, who's talking to Chris. And I get so frustrated because I'm like, you're not looking at the obvious of what really happened. It was about money. Do you know what billions of dollars makes people do? Mm-hmm. That's make people disappear stuff. And absolutely. I'm learning and I can't say much, but over the past 48 to 78 hours, I'll just say this. Some of the things I've learned for the first time since I bought my house 2.5 years ago, I turned on for the first time my security system tonight. and locked my doors because of some of the stuff I found out. And that's not to sound like I'm being crazy, because usually I don't. Like I said, I didn't even know how to turn it on. I had to look at the manual, and then I had to call my fiance to say, hey, how do I use this security system? Because it scared me what I found out. And we're all looking in the wrong place. It's all about big oil and the cover up. They don't care if we talk about NK. They don't care if we sit and fight each other over who has the most information. That as long as we stay away from the cover up. As long as we don't talk about Chevron, Occidental, and Anadarko.
Absolutely. Keep them looking over here. Keep them focused over there. Let them fight themselves. As long as they're not seeing the bigger picture over here, that's all they care about.
Exactly.
You also have to look at who all benefited monetarily from this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a lot of money made off of this murder. Hi, Larry. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. No, you're absolutely right. Well, I mean, I guess a couple things I can say is, because if you go back, all you got to do is go back. I mean, they're still on YouTube. Go back and just type in, I guess, like Anadarko merger or something, and you'll see news reports going back to before this event happened, when this whole bid war between Chevron and Occidental was going through. Everyone, even in the mainstream media, CNBC and that, they were talking, and it was a given that there's no one, especially Occidental, was going to be able to outbid Chevron. Never was going to happen. The bidding was up. The bidding at the time was over $40 billion. It was predicted to sell for about $45 billion. The final merger, the final bid that won out, was Occidental, which shocked the world that they actually beat Chevron, and for $38 billion, which was $7 billion less, at least $7 billion, could have been more, but at least $7 billion less than what was expected. And if you look at the facial expressions of everybody in the news at the time, they were absolutely shocked, because they knew something happened. Why would Anadarko take that? Why would they let go? So when I first came on the scene, I had the cover up an Anadarko theory. What I've learned is I was close, but I was wrong. Anadarko didn't cover it for money. Anadarko was a victim. They were blackmailed. And I guess that it's going to sound crazy what I'm telling you.
Nothing sounds crazy to me at this point.
What I'm saying is, Occidental, look at who invested in Occidental not long before the merger. One of the most powerful and richest people in the world. And suddenly, Occidental, this relatively small company compared to Chevron, ends up winning and saving $7 billion. Unbelievable. Now, how did they do it? They had to set up something where they can I'm using blackmail as kind of a blanket term because I don't understand it. But, and again, this is my theory. I won't say it's fact. It's what I'm working on. But some of the information that I've gotten has blown my mind.
I believe it.
But again, if I go on talking about it, I guess it's not as sexy as talking about, NK, or this one or that one.
I hate that, because people get too invested in their own theory and what they think happened, to the point that they're no longer open to hearing any other theories or explanations. And it's not about being right or wrong. The truth is about the truth, and you can't get justice until the full truth is exposed. And it shouldn't matter to you what the truth is, whether it's ugly or pretty or not what you thought all along. That's not what matters.
Well,
I just want to say,
right,
Larry, your theories and everything that you come out with, when I first heard you on CDT, as soon as you created a channel, I come right over and I sub to you, because I appreciate the things that you talk about, because I think there's more validity to what you're saying's happening and what's taking place with this crime or whatever, because people don't look at Anadarko enough, and they don't look at the big people that are involved in this. And I just want to say thank you for covering that, and I hope you'll still continue to do so.
Thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate that, because I've taken a lot of heat, as everyone knows, and because I keep trying to push, people to stop regurgitating the same things and let's look deeper into why it happened. I mean, it basically, I'm trying to think how I could say this without revealing certain things, but ultimately, Chris and even NK and all them, they were low-level soldiers in a bigger plan.
I believe that.
You know, they don't care. Even Rourke, even those guys, they were low-level whatevers. When you're talking let's say it was 7 billion, just to use that figure, because I mean, who knows how much it really was that they saved or whatever. But let's say there was $7 billion. You know, me included, most of us are poor. You know, when it comes to that kind of money, we can't even fathom. We can't fathom how much $7 billion means. But basically, they could take 500 million of that and still have $6.5 billion. And they could take 500 million of it and pay off. You know what you could do with 500 million? You could pay a lot of people to shut up. You could pay people to create YouTube channels and give them enough money to make them feel like they're happy, to go in and infiltrate and pretend that they're actually looking for the truth when really all they're doing is diverting the attention away. And I got so much evidence that shows money being funneled to certain parties that I couldn't believe what I've been seeing over the past 48 to 72 hours. And I just don't know how to legally put it out there.
Right. You got to be careful.
I had dinner tonight with 2 lawyers and a former congressman. And that's why I'm so behind on what's going on today on YouTube. But
you're not missing anything.
I was given some very good but very scary advice.
Well, that's what it is. When you find out the truth, people want the truth so bad, yet they don't realize what comes with the truth. The truth is majority of the time very scary, frightening, and terrifying. And that's why a lot of people prefer not to know the truth. And this ties back into the 9/11 and things like that. People would rather believe the official narrative versus realizing what your government or people in power with money are capable of. It's such a scary and terrifying and evil thought that something like corruption like that can occur, that the majority of people would just rather, don't question anything. But that's not fair, because the only way to stop this corruption and stop these things from happening is waking up. And I don't like to use the term woke, but you have to wake up and be aware of this and call this stuff out.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, 9/11 is a perfect example. I remember I was running, I was a campaign manager for a congressional campaign back in, what was it, 2000, it was a little after, so it was 2004, actually. I was a young buck and, running a pretty behind, way behind long shot congressional campaign. So we had a event uptown one evening at a venue uptown, and a whole bunch of the 9/11 truthers showed up at a rally. And I remember talking to the candidate beforehand, and we were discussing how to handle them. And I said to him, look, you have no shot. You're polling at like between 25 and 30% of the poll. Throw everything but the kitchen sink. These people want to know the truth. Make them feel validated. And he looked at me and he goes, you're absolutely crazy. And he went out there, and when they got up and they asked him a question about it, he dismissed them right away and said, get out of here. You people are, he called them conspiracy theorists, and they were crazy. And, they left and they got mad. And of course,
was that before the 9/11 Commission report came out?
No, it was after. It was right after, actually. I believe. That's a good question. I'll have to look. And don't quote me on that yet, but it was right around that time. And they were dead set on, at least getting him to look into, the whole idea. It was right around the time that movie, the documentary Loose Change?
Yes.
Came out, and this group was going around the country, going to different politicians' rallies, and they would speak up and ask questions. And they weren't disrespectful, but his reaction, and I was very young, And I couldn't believe. I said, geez, why not throw it out there? We're getting crushed in this campaign. So you might as well throw everything with the kitchen sink out there and see if you could catch on to populism. Well, in hindsight, now that I'm older, I realized that this candidate, it was actually an open seat, and the congressman that was there forever was retiring. Well, this candidate that I was working for was his chief of staff. So he was part of the establishment. He likely knew. And he likely knew that if he said anything like that, he'd be in big trouble. So I look back now, and it makes sense to me why he wouldn't do it. He would rather lose him.
It actually was right then. It says July 22nd, 2004. So yeah, that was right.
Okay, so this was, and this event was in the fall, so it was right before the election. So the commission report must have just came out, and they were coming. So this was it was 2004 election. And his name was Dan Lamb. You can look him up. But he wouldn't do it, and he, it blew my mind. But I was young and naive at the time, and I thought, why the heck not? Throw it out there, get these people support, do whatever you can. At this point, we're getting crushed. But he knew something I didn't, and now though, I'm glad it's becoming more acceptable. Almost like JFK when he was first shot, everyone said, you're nuts if you question that. But today, I think the polls show over 70% of Americans don't believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
Like, this is it's the most ridiculous thing, and this is what the difference is, because I'm planning on doing 9/11. I just don't know how to go about it yet. But it's not about someone wanting to stuff their theory down your throat. I don't know what happened, especially with 9/11. I know what didn't happen, though, and that's the official narrative. And all you have to do is look at all the evidence for yourself, present the evidence. That's all I'm looking to do. And you'll be able to determine that there's no way what they told us is the truth at all.
No. I mean, look at Building 7. A good friend of mine that I grew up with, well, two of them, her and her boyfriend, I grew up with them. Her boyfriend was a NYPD police officer. She worked for, I think, Hartford Insurance, but one insurance company that were in Building 7 that morning. And when they, obviously it was a bad event, but when they, took them out of Building 7, and she ended up getting very lucky and meeting up with her, finding her boyfriend on the street, and he was there, obviously, as NYPD. So they were all down there. And this was, by the way, the morning. If we all remember, Building 7, first off, should have never fell. Wasn't hit. And she said when they left the building, there was no damage, barely at all. A couple windows got broken. It was nothing. And when they left, her boyfriend told her that he was told that they're going to take the building down. That was in the morning.
Yep.
How would he have known that? If it just randomly fell, how did they tell a regular old police officer that the building was that they were taking the building down? That's why they were getting them off. Because in any event like that, especially a building that wasn't hit, the safest thing to do would have been keep those people in the building. That's why the mayor's crisis center was in that building. Yet they took everybody out. Then, of course, we all know they have the media standing there with the building still standing, giving a report. Oh, Building 7 fell.
With Building 7 still standing behind them, which was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
And there's other skyscrapers around the world that have had worse fires than the Twin Towers that have burned for like a week straight.
Oh, yes.
And everything burnt, but the building still stood. The
Where's
steel
the
frame
rubble?
Never fell.
Besides them imploding into their own footprint, where's all the steel? And I know you, as a fellow New Yorker, we know we had those images on our screen every single day. Those buildings were made to take the impact of 3 commercial airplanes and still be able to stand. There is no plausible explanation of not only why they crumbled into their own footprint, both of them. Where is the rubble? The largest piece of steel we pulled out of that was like a couple of feet long, and it was cut at a 45-degree angle, the same way they would for a controlled demolition. All of those office desks, office cabinets, think about the Twin Towers filled with all those office supplies. We never found one. There was no rubble.
But pieces of paper and the so-called
passports.
and the so-called terrorist passports were fine. And
They
they
were still
found
right
them.
there.
And that goes to, I forget her name now because I haven't looked at this in a while, but she's got the theory everyone's talking about crazy about the technology they have to literally pulverize.
Oh, the woman who went her whole like she did a whole presentation on it, and I think the name of it was like whereas the rubble, like the termite. Brittany, you know what I'm talking about, right? The termite theory.
Yeah, the thermite. Yeah.
Termite. They had a bunch of bugs come in.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got friends that worked in the building. Well, one of my friends, who I grew up with also, I'll never forget it because we had all just graduated college at this time. And I had a good friend, Rick, who I talked to him on Sunday. He was so excited. He was working for, I think it was Smith Barney. And it was his first day for his first real job out of college on Monday. And he was so excited. And I'm assuming he went to work on Monday and had a good time. And then, of course, Tuesday came, so it would have been his second day of work. And to this day, they've never found him. He died in 9/11. And it just breaks my heart that I was on the phone with him Sunday evening, and we were talking.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's really hard, and I still see his parents all the time. They still live here in Utica. And, but it blows my mind to think that, you know, some people say, well, nobody died in it. Well, that's getting a little crazy. Yes, they died.
No,
yes, the building fell.
My uncle died in 9/11. Like I said, like you guys need to stop misunderstanding what false flag events or pandemics or things like that and take that as, well, are you trying to say my parent didn't die from COVID? No, that's not. The illness is real. The event majority of the time is real, but it's orchestrated. It's an orchestrated event.
Yeah, well, that's where Operation Northwoods comes in. If you read that, that goes back to the 60s. You read Operation Northwoods, which is literally a declassified now document where, and some people say that's why JFK was killed, because JFK was not part of these secret societies. He said no to it.
Correct.
But that plan, if you could Google, anyone could Google it, read the documents. They propose, the Joint Chiefs of Staff proposed a plan that almost is identical to what happened on 9/11 in the 60s, and they wanted to do it and blame it on Castro so they could justify going in and taking out Cuba.
Larry, we did all this 2 days ago. You were 100%.
I know, I missed it. I got to go.
Well, Larry, I'd like to ask you while you're on panel, and I can get your opinion. You come from the political world. What is your opinion on the ultimate goal that the establishment has for us for the future? What is it that they want to do?
Honestly, I mean, I'm just there's so many different, it's so hard to tell because it's such a small group. All these other people are just players in it. But ultimately, I think there's a mixture of, they do think that they are doing good. They think that they are doing right. What they want to do is and I would say they are right to an extent that the world is overpopulated. We all know that. The world is overpopulated. They want they want to depopulize, you know, the country, the world. They also want full control. It's all about control and money, ultimately, and power. And not even money. It's more about power to these people. They already have enough money. Yeah, they have enough money.
You're talking about the 13 elite bloodlines like the Rockefellers and stuff, where they want it to be just within their own bloodlines.
The Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, these are groups that go far beyond. These politicians are just puppets, just like us. I mean, these people they're just soldiers in their game. Correct. Even people like Bill Gates and that are pretty high up, but they're also soldiers.
Even the president, you guys think the president is at the top of the chain. The president is nowhere near the top of the chain. There is the shadow government. There is the elites. A president comes in and is only there every 4 to 8 years. Those aren't the people that run things. The president isn't the one that runs things whatsoever. And right before JFK got shot, he did inquire about the UFOs and alien communications and whatnot. And there is a document.
President Kennedy, one of his famous speeches was about warning about secret societies and all that stuff. Well, now, isn't it interesting that now if you go to YouTube and you type in Kennedy secret societies, it's very hard to find that speech.
Oh,
you can find every other speech.
Yeah, they wipe it out.
Hard.
I'm so excited.
Dwight Eisenhower did the same thing before him. So
Yeah.
these
Decided to
people
talk
started
about the
seeing it.
secret societies. Let me check.
Yeah, he talked and he warned about secret societies and all this different stuff, and it's very, very real. And that's why the CIA created the term conspiracy theorist, because they
Correct.
needed something to marginalize people that tell the truth, so that now
Yes.
it's become so vogue that it's easy if anyone comes up and tells the truth about something that's shocking,
They just
that
shoo
people,
you off. Like
yeah,
they literally
even
invented
regular
that word,
people.
and they associate what they'll do is they'll come into, like, let's say the 9/11 truthers group, or I don't want to say the flat earthers, because I don't necessarily believe the earth is flat. I believe that, you know, a lot of misinformation is being spread. But what they'll do is they'll have their own operatives infiltrate these groups and say crazy things to throw it off. Even if you want to say the Watts, who knows? They may come in and throw out these crazy theories and this crazy stuff. So it makes all the other people who are actually reasonable and sane and questioning look crazy. So anytime
Yes.
when I say conspiracy theorists, why do you think I'm always going like that? Because I'm like, majority of these conspiracies are proven accurate. They occurred.
It's organized chaos. It's
Yes.
a coordinated effort, and they do it on every level, even something as simple, which isn't simple, because we all think, well, the Watts case, it's just Chris Watts killed his family. Why would they get involved? What do they care? Well, when you look at the obvious of $7 billion, it is nothing for them to. All I got to say, and again, I'm not trying to, hammer creators. I know that becomes something, but I have enough evidence to prove without a doubt that there are certain channels that popped up right when this happened, and there are certain subsidiary companies that end up hidden that actually very easily have transferred money to people. And there's a reason why certain people, you would think, why are they attacking this one, or why are they going after this person, or wait, they say stop talking, and like me, for example, I recently said, I'm going to stop talking about Watts. I'm done with it, because I had just had enough of all the drama.
Yeah, there's
But
an evil that surrounds this case.
as I stepped away, though, what I realized is a lot of these so-called quote unquote truther groups were still attacking me. And then I said, okay, now that I stepped back, so sometimes you got to step back from the tree so you can see the forest. I was too close to the tree to see the forest. When I stepped back, I was able to get a better look, and I started putting things together and saying, wait a second, a lot of these channels, think about it, they attack almost universally guys like me, AD, and Dave. And all three of us have never attacked the family, have never talked bad about the victims, have never blamed Shanann, have never done any of that. But we get attacked. But some of the channels, let's say, for example, a certain channel that has, mocked or whatever, whether it was innocent or not, it was in bad taste, but mocked Shanann or have blamed, for example, KK, her theory is that the first confession was true, that Shanann killed the kids. None of those truther channels have ever done a coordinated effort attacking those people. So it's become okay to blame Shanann. It's become okay to talk about just about anything. But people that look into the cover up, people that look into the companies, get attacked. And that's where I started reaching out to some of I never wanted to use any political capital over the years I've built, but I started reaching out to some pretty high people. And I couldn't believe how many already knew what I was talking about. It's not a secret. And then I got the other day about almost 1,000 pages of documents, including financial documents, that blew my mind as to who some of these people are, and that there is a coordinated effort on social media for a lot of these people to do this. You got certain people tonight that attacked Dave for simply releasing the audio, and they said, and I'm not going to name names because I don't do that, but there was a certain that I noticed, a certain creator that said, you're people are beating a dead horse when they're talking about this case. But then I looked at the channel, and they just did a panel on the Watts case like 2-3 days ago. So it's not the matter that he's talking about the case; it's what he's talking about they don't like.
So do you think that the murders happened the way any other murder happened, but because it was tied to Anadarko, that is why a bigger cover-up came at play? Because I just want to clarify for any of the viewers
My-
watching to think that, what do you mean? Did a murder happen? Did Anadarko set it up?
Oh,
or
a murder happened. A murder
a
happened.
murder
For sure.
happened, and they were already in the middle of a lawsuit, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and they don't want that bad press or bad negativity. They're in the middle of selling, and so they wanted it swept under the rug.
That was my original theory when I came in. And remember, I came in blind. I came in with, I had a friend that told me some other weird things that were going on, told me that there was an executive from Anadarko involved, and, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't tell me anything groundbreaking, but they told me enough and raised enough questions where that's where I went, and that's the road I went down. And it was easy for me to just say, Anadarko covered this thing up because Anadarko wanted to make money, and they were in the middle of the murder. They didn't want anything to ruin it. That was what I thought. The reason I'm so shocked over the last 48, 72 hours is because I was close, but I'll just say this. It ended up being, from all I'm gathering, it ended up being the opposite. Anadarko was actually, in my belief, in my opinion, and it's just a theory, Anadarko was possibly blackmailed and set up themselves in order to take a lesser bid, and they lost about $7 billion, because otherwise Chevron would have won that bid easily, and it would have been about $45 billion. It ended up selling for $38 billion. So what would have happened? How would they get that done? They would get that done by creating something. And again, I don't know the details, but we know that this thing happened, and there's all these weird things involved. And I do know that NK was not only having an affair with Chris. And
someone higher up in Anadarko?
Yes. And that was one of the first things told to me. So let's say,
Larry, why can't we find anything on her at all? Like, there's no records of this chick at all.
That question right there is probably I don't know the answer, but the very fact that that's the case should show you who can make all this stuff disappear like that. Who can make someone ultimately, it takes not only a lot of money, because there's celebrities out there that have tried to disappear, and they've had multimillionaires, and they can't. So it takes more than just a lot of money. It takes massive power to be able to disappear off the face of the earth.
Someone off the same thing they did to Bob Lazar. You guys remember I said that 2 nights ago. I said after he came out, they literally wiped his history. He couldn't even confirm that he went to college. Like, he just no longer existed.
It takes massive power. You're talking deep. $7 billion is deep state type money. That makes people do things that would blow your mind and make people think we're all crazy. And again, I'm still putting things together. But what I've learned so far has just totally blown my mind as to how deep this goes. And I don't even know if I want to do another show about it. I've debated. I don't know.
Yeah, that's understandable. Like, listen, like, one person told me, and I think it was very smart when he said it. He's like, there's a difference between what you know versus what you say publicly, and I took that to heart, and I was like, that's actually really smart. You don't always need to show all your cards. You have to be careful with what you say. But you're probably like me, and I'm the kind that when I find out information, the same thing with 9/11, I'm the first one who wants to scream it from the rooftops, because I feel like I know something and everybody else should know it too.
But you know what you're working with, and you have to be, look out for the safety of your well-being and those around you. So I definitely would handle it.
My best advice I could say is to go with your gut feeling. Watch the interactions of all the big players on Watts Island. Watch the interactions. Watch how they react to certain things and how they react to other things. Look at when they first go back and start looking at some of their old videos. Go back and see when they first started watching or covering Watt's case. And just trust your gut feeling. I think anyone that uses an open mind when they do that can get an idea of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just go back and do your research as to who is who. And trust nobody. Trust nobody.
No, that's one thing I've learned, to trust nobody. But I feel like I'm definitely pulling back from the Watts a little bit right now. Besides that, there's such a toxic negativity. There's an evil that surrounds this Watts case. I'm not sure what exactly it is, But there are so many other cases that really deserve coverage. And I love, like with me, I'm all about the bizarre and unsolved and unexplainable stuff. Obviously, I love all this kind of like that's where I want to go. So even though Watts is something that I have a passion for, I really only want to kind of jump up when there's updates. Because I mean, you could really get lost down the Watts rabbit hole. Every day, people are coming out with all these updates, but it's not necessarily true. Only just a handful of them may be true. But as an outsider, someone who doesn't talk directly to them or have any connections, I can't discern what's truth or what's not, and it's like a roller coaster.
It is, and that's orchestrated. They want, they'll plant false information with certain people so that they could set them up to then say they're not credible anymore. And so it's so much, and I apologize because I'm already going to regret that I even brought Watts up on this, because I just wanted to call and tell my story about my car accident. But
it kind of all ties into the corruption and the bigger people at play, so I get it.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of everything that happens, there's a reason for it. I mean, there's a reason, there's an agenda behind all of this stuff out there, whether it's even every movie that makes it to the, makes it to the big screen. Do you think that the CIA and all those people that you say isn't infiltrated in Hollywood and given the okay as to what can go, what can't go? And I mean, we know that.
Absolutely, 100%.
But before someone calls the psych ward and has me institutionalized, I'll let you get back to your program. You're doing awesome.
Thanks for coming up, Larry. No, I absolutely love it. I love hearing other people's stories and experiences, because, it's one thing to say, talk about it. It's another thing when people actually have experiences of their own. And I love just even, with the Watts case or anything, and I've always complimented you, and I said we needed someone like you for a while to come into the community, because you had experience in your field, and it was a totally different perspective and outlook that no one else had brought into the community so far. So that's what I loved about your channel. And putting all, it's like a big puzzle, like you got to put the pieces together. But unfortunately, in situations like this, they throw in a bunch of fake pieces. So you're trying to discern what's, what belongs to the puzzle, what doesn't. And so the only way you could do that is kind of coming together and trying to put the links together, with each other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're doing good. I enjoy these. I'm glad to get back to just talking about issues and topics, and whether they roll into other things and how it all relates. That's what I originally fell in love with on YouTube, and unfortunately it's been a wild month or so, but I'm so glad to get back to talking.
Absolutely. And about things that truly matter. And you could bring something up about the Watts. That's sure gone in time. It's nice to bring awareness to it, because you could look at this corruption and what the bigger people at play, how they pull the strings in something massive like Operation Northwoods or 9/11 or Operation Paper, whatever we're talking about. But it's also good to understand, if they could do it at something massive, what makes you think that they aren't doing it on a smaller scale, And I think a lot of people get confused with the Watts, like, well, what do you mean it's a bigger cover up? What do you, it's not so much saying it doesn't matter what exactly happened that night. Maybe NK was involved or this or that. But at the end of the day, someone bigger is the reason that this is like a cover up is happening. And that's the part I was always interested in.
Exactly. Hey, to lend credence to, I'm sorry, Larry. I was just going to say, to lend credence to Megan J a little bit, and really to what Larry's saying, because it is the establishment at the end of the day on both ends. But, the Watts case has a shit ton of symbolism. I was just telling you this, yesterday or the day before?
Yeah.
And their fingerprints are all over it. I mean, they leave little, clues and hints here and there that this is their deed, not necessarily that the establishment was behind the murders, but they have a hand in it. And there are, symbols and, different little hints and clues here and there that I'm finding more and more every day that's embedded into this actual crime or whatever.
Well, there's a lot, that there's a lot to be said about the cult connections and those type of things that I've been following. And people thought I was nuts when I compared the Son of Sam thing to this
Nice
case, but
example.
not the actual crime. But like Melissa said, they want us all debating. They love that we're all debating, laughing, and talking about what happened that night. And did Chris really text this? And did that text this? The devil's in the details. And as long as we're all fighting over that stuff and who knows more and who's been following the case longer, that to them is hilarious, because what we're not looking at is what the real end game was. What was the real, I hate to say this because 4 people died, and that is massive tragedy. But that was the small potatoes in this.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I've always liked you, Larry, because you've always been about follow the money, and it's always like that. You follow the money and you find the source of the issue.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's always about follow the money. And that's what I'm starting to track down. It's hard to do because these companies have, like I said, so many different subsidiary companies. And then nowadays with the, people talk about politics, and I know they hate it because, when I talk about politics, oh, I hate politics. You don't have to like politics. But all of life, whether corporate life, whether it's Little League baseball, our life is politics, whether we know it or not.
Yes.
And what I'll tell you is
politics. Everyday life is politics.
When you get to the higher level of politics, and I've been in politics, okay, at a state level, even at a state level, when you get to the higher echelons of, whoever is in control of, let's say, when you get to the governor and, this one and that one, those people don't care at all about right versus left, Republican or Democrat. They are just registered in a party simply to use, let's say a congressman. They look at the district. The district has 30,000 more Republicans than Democrats. So, okay, I'm going to register as a Republican because I got the advantage. They don't actually care about any of those beliefs. They go out and they spout whatever they want to spout that they know is going to rile up the base and the regular people. They don't really care about guns. They don't really care about any of those issues that they're telling you they care about. They have no values. And I've witnessed it firsthand. I'm not just saying this as a theory. I've watched these people. I've been in meetings where they've literally admitted, yeah, I don't care about that. We don't care about this. What they do is they go out there, they fight, and they divide the country, because ultimately this country is so divided. You got about 45% of the country is going to vote Democrat no matter what. 45% of the country is going to vote Republican no matter what. So when you get down to an election, it becomes easier for them because all they're fighting for is that 10% in the middle. So when I don't know if anyone here gets when it comes election time, for example, you get direct mail pieces all the time in your mailbox. And
yep.
I've run elections, so I know how to allocate money. And when it comes to a budget and that, and I could tell you it's politics 101. That, let's say I'm running a campaign for a guy who's running for mayor, and it's in my city, and he's a Democrat. Let's just say, throw it out there. He's a Democrat, and we have a Republican opponent. When it gets close to election, 2 weeks out, and we're running our ads and we're doing, targeted direct mails, the rule of thumb is you don't waste a penny on, you're already doing polling and all that, and you're already through the campaign figuring out who's who. So you could look at voter data and say, all of these people, they're going to vote for me no matter what. All of these people, they're going to vote for my opponent no matter what. Here's the people in the middle that are independents. So we're not going to spend one dime on any of the others, because you're not going to waste your money on people that are already voting for you. You're not going to waste your money on people that are voting against you. So what you're going to do is you're going to spend your money, and you're only going to target that middle, and you're going to bombard them with direct mail. But if they ever came together and took away the parties, let's say, whereas people were truly independent and truly picked people based on their policies, and they didn't just vote for a Republican or a Democrat, they would have to spend exponentially more money. And they would have to talk about real issues. They couldn't just go out there and spout off stupid platitudes. It would be so much difficult. It would be harder to control people. It's about control. And I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe that's over some people's head, but they love You know, people always wonder, well, why don't we reform our political system? We all know it's broken, but it benefits the status quo. And that's on both sides, for the record. It isn't a Democrat and Republican thing. I'm a Democrat, I'll admit it. But I fought my own party more than I fought the Republican Party when I was in office, because they were crooks, and I knew they didn't believe in what they said. They just enjoyed. Yeah, and they love when people are apathetic. They love low voter turnout. And that's why, you know, some people say, well, my vote doesn't matter. And if you think of every person on the collective that says that, well, I can tell you now that the power brokers, the people that are in office wherever you live in your town, whether it's your state senator, they don't want apathetic people to vote. They want to do everything they can to piss them off so that they stay home, because anyone that's upset with the system, what are they likely to vote for? They're likely to vote against the incumbent. Yeah. So who does it benefit that people stay home? It benefits the incumbent, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. The people that go out to vote are people that work for government, work for nonprofits that get government grants, and then they have their family members. So as an incumbent, you are already built. You go into an election with a built-in 45% of the vote. You only have to win 5% if you have a good opponent. Sometimes you go in with more than that. So that's why incumbency is so powerful. Think of this, and I know I'm rambling, but think of this statistic. When right now in America, incumbents in Congress have a 97% reelection rate. They are reelected, even though national polls show that the American people, only 9% of American people approve of the job Congress is doing. 98% or 97% of Congress members are reelected, because it's all, again, goes back to Tip O'Neill. He used to say, all politics is local. When you get to the local level, everyone knows their congressman. Like, I don't know where you live, Melissa, but I have a good friend who's a congressman. You know Tom Swazi?
Nope, but I don't do politics.
Okay, well, he's a congressman.
I do politics.
He used to be Nassau County executive, and now he's a congressman in Nassau County.
Oh, I'm in Nassau County too, so I should know. That's pretty sad.
He's probably your congressman. Now, I know Tom very well, because when he was county executive, I've gone down there, and he's, you know, showed us around the Nassau County that when they rebuilt and redesigned the buildings and all this stuff. And he came up here and campaigned for me. But anyways, I know him well. He taught me all this, and he's very smart, very rich, but he's a typical politician now, and he knows this stuff. I mean, on a local level, again, 9% of Americans think Congress is doing a good job. That means 91% hate Congress. Yet 97% are reelected, because when you get to the local level, it's like, oh, but I know Tom. He's a nice guy.
Exactly. Yep.
There's a reason that we have Nancy Pelosi's and the Chuck Schumers and the Bidens who have been in there for 47 years, and the Maxine Waters.
Chuck Schumer's a perfect example. He's my U.S. senator. I despise the guy, and I'm a Democrat. I despise him now that I'm older. But back when I was younger and I was a legislator, he used to come into town, and he would shake my hand. We'd do pictures. We'd go out to dinner. He would every press conference locally, he would stand up and call me his legislator. So stupid me, I thought, well, he's a great guy. What are these people talking about? I always supported him and voted for him. Again, it's all, we're so easily bought and influenced, and we need, and again, so 90, my whole point where I was starting is over 90% of Americans think that our system is crooked and broken. Yet, why don't politicians, we always ask, why don't they reform it? Why don't they change it? Because would you change something? Now, 97% are reelected. If you go back to when Hitler was in control under the parliament that Hitler was in, people don't realize when Hitler was in control, it was a democracy. They voted in elections. Mm-hmm. His party had a 92% reelection rate. So it sounds really crazy to say this, but Hitler would have loved the American political process. Our politicians in America are able to control things better than frickin' Hitler was in Germany.
Yeah, people think that they are servants of ours, but I just can't believe that the American people still believe that these people work for us.
Yeah, it's sad. And like we said even 2 days ago, we took all the Nazis from Germany and we hired them onto NASA instead of charging them with war crimes because we saw what they were doing and we wanted to follow what they were doing because whether you deny it or, like whether Hitler was awful or not, he also was a very strong, powerful leader. And he did, I don't even know how to say it the right way. So I'm probably just not going to say it.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I mean, there's something. I see factual fairnesses here. Who's a South African and who also is one of my original supporters. Great, great, great person. And Mandela was amazing. And I've studied the whole Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I don't know how much you know about the Truth and Reconciliation, Reverend Desmond Tutu. And I when I was in college, I studied a lot about restorative justice. And it's truly a miracle how that Truth and Reconciliation thing went about. I mean, we need something like that in America. We need something like that on Watts Island, to be honest, is everybody to come out and just tell the truth.
Yeah.
And then if we all then also have to be sincere when we say, as long as you tell the truth, admit to what you did, we will forgive everybody.
People are very
that's
forgiving.
The only way we can move forward.
Yeah, people are very forgiving, but people have a really hard time admitting, to where they've done wrong, and that's sad.
Yeah, it is. It is. I would definitely highly recommend everybody to read. And God, now I forget the name. I've read it like 6 times, but basically, you'll see it's one of the most popular book that Desmond Tutu wrote about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It's just absolutely fascinating once you read it to believe that actually happened in this world. And
but Larry, politically though, like in the political world, do you really think that these politicians that we have would actually be honest and tell the people the things that they've actually really done?
No.
No,
to sold out for money.
They're waiting for like 9/11 and certain and JFK. They're waiting until all the people who had held power at that point to die before they give us any information. Okay, because we don't want to hold them liable. They don't want to have consequences for their actions. So if we just wait, even though we already basically know, well, we don't know the exact truth, but we know that the official narrative didn't happen. But they don't want to be held responsible. And this could go back. Look up David Greer and the Undisclosure Project and all the government officials who've come out and given their testimonies of the positions they held and the corruption that would occur and the things that they witnessed with, extraterrestrial species and aliens and the crafts and whatnot, and why they would have to keep their mouths shut and keep it at bay, because it's all about the political power and the political agenda.
Yeah. Well, I love David.
I mean, they're testing us as like you talked about, for example, COVID being kind of a test on how much power they have. They're also doing social experiments on just how divided and brainwashed basically and on trivial things people are.
100%.
For example, January 6th, what happened on the Capitol. At any other time in American history, there is, and I don't care where you stand politically, because I was a Democrat, but I was actually endorsed every election I've ever run, I was endorsed by the Conservative Party. I was ranked the #1 legislator by the Conservative Party, and that's why my own party hated me. So I'm actually quite independent. And what we saw on January 6th happen at the Capitol, and the fact that there's an entire party and their base literally has no problem with it, and they don't care, these people are like, wow, it's amazing. Like, it was a social experiment to them. They don't really care. They wanted to see just how much people will stick with their team, I guess,
Absolutely.
Despite what they do. And, I hate to say it, but Donald Trump was actually right when he said, 5 years ago, and he famously got up and said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and my people would still vote for me. Well, he proved he's right. He wasn't wrong. He was no dummy. He can say and do whatever he wants, and people will vote for him. Now, you go back only 50 years in history, and that would not be the case. People were more patriotic, more independent. I mean, in today's day, Richard Nixon would have survived Watergate like nothing.
Yes, he would have.
Yeah. Well, what bothers me is the fact that, like, just like you said, they can do anything in front of us and nothing, there's no like consequences for it. I delved deep into politics for like probably the last 6 years, like solidly, where I kept up with it every day. And it's disgusting to me that they can just commit all of these crimes. They can steal all of this money and nothing's done to stop it. But not only that, they have so much control over the people that they can literally pit all of us against one another, like within the battle of the racist agenda, or even with this COVID, y'all were talking about the lockdowns and stuff. Well, not only did the lockdowns work, but they've managed to make us all socially awkward towards one another, where we're less likely to go up and talk to a stranger now, because they don't want us to all to come together and stand up against what they're doing.
Oh, that's their biggest fear, is everybody uniting. They don't want, unless it's for their agenda. For example, 9/11, they needed America to unite behind patriotism so that we would all cave in and say, okay, let's start a war with a country that had nothing to do with it. Let's make trillions of dollars. And we're currently still in that war, which, by the way, we are in right now the longest war in the history of America. And nobody even knows it. We've become normalized to it. Americans have become, basically desensitized, and it's become normal that their politicians are crooked and that they do these things. And okay, I'm still going to go vote for them. Okay, they all do it, so hey, I'll vote for them. I mean, Melissa, you're from New York, so remember Anthony Weiner when he made a comeback that year?
I remember Anthony Weiner because it was so funny.
I remember that.
Yeah, along with what he did. Oh my God, it was so.
He was gonna win that mayoral race, and they had to actually. They had to get him on another scandal because they couldn't believe it. They're like, "Wow, it's kind of bad." Our years of kind of training Americans to, be desensitized to this kind of stuff is backfiring now, because here's Anthony Weiner coming into a mayoral race after everything he got caught doing, and holy cow, he's about to win the mayoral race. So they had to get him on another one to make sure he couldn't do it. But it almost backfired on them. That guy almost became mayor of New York City.
Yeah,
Larry, do you remember? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
No, you're good.
Do you remember, like, you know how you were talking about the president and all these politicians aren't really in power? Do you remember when Hillary Clinton went? She went on stage to give a speech for the Trilateral Commission, and she just outright admitted to the people, she's like, "I just want to say how glad I am that the Trilateral Commission has moved down the street from the White House, so now we don't have very far to go to take our orders." And I mean, she just outright admitted that the Trilateral Commission tells them everything that they have to do.
That was a setup too. That was very calculated, because she wanted to say it as kind of a joke, so that again it trivializes, because people at that time, remember, were starting with the advent of YouTube being in its early days and so on. People were starting to learn about what the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderberg Group and those were, and it was scaring them. So they figured, we can't no longer, totally ignore that they exist. So we got to start making jokes about it. So to hope that people, kind of call it, yeah, you're a conspiracy theorist. There was a purpose behind every word that comes out of her mouth. But Hillary's another example of a person that, I mean, I got a personal experience with her when she was our U.S. Senator. Remember when she was running for president, and it was the primary against Obama. Now, in that primary, we were literally threatened. I'm talking heavy threats here in New York State, because she was our state senator. I was literally the only elected Democrat in New York that publicly endorsed Barack Obama over Hillary during the primary. And they warned me that I was going to get a lot of backlash, which I did. But nonetheless, that's irrelevant. One day, she was here in town, and she used to stay with our state assemblywoman, who was very popular. She's now the New York State Office of General Services Commissioner, Roanne DeStito. She used to stay at her house when she would come into town. So we had a fundraiser there, and it was a very tight-knit, like 100 people in her house. And we're all just walking around, and I got a chance to stop and talk with Hillary. And she knew now here I am, this little local legislator, didn't think Hillary knew me from anyone. Somehow she knew, and her first words to me weren't even hello. it was, so you endorsed Barack, huh? And I looked at her. I'm like, geez, put me on the spot. Why don't you? And,
Oh my
that's what I was
God.
thinking. And I said, well, I go, it's nothing personal, Senator. I said, it's, Barack to me here. And I was at the time, I think 27 or 28. And I said, he's kind of my generation's Robert Kennedy. He inspires me. I said, but I don't think you have any problem in New York State anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And she goes, well, I think you're making a big mistake. And she goes, and America will never elect a black president. And she said that to me. And I go, you got to be kidding me that she just said to me. And, if I told that on a public stage, people would probably either not believe me or say I'm bad-mouthing her. Look, she's out. Brock's now out of his term. I have no reason to lie about that. She said
No, they said she's openly racist behind closed doors.
I wouldn't
There's
doubt
been
it.
many
I
things
mean,
said.
I can't say she was racist for what she said, but I'll tell you it was very...
But I mean, of course that wasn't racist, but that was kind of blunt and disrespectful at the very least. So was she as pleasant as they say she is?
What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, was she as pleasant as they say she is? They say she's pretty much a bitch in person.
Oh,
Hillary?
Pleasant. She is not pleasant at all. She is a cutthroat. I was a big fan of Bill Clinton. Hillary, she is cutthroat.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic. I heard she's horrible.
Oh, yeah, I heard she's horrible.
To me, she's the devil.
Yeah.
She is cutthroat. She doesn't care. She's petty. She will get vengeance against, here I am again. I was a little tiny local legislator. No one could convince me otherwise that, we had a major casino here and they dropped over $250,000 against me in my reelection that next time I ran. And I ended up losing by 11 votes. And Hillary Clinton runs that casino. No, they don't do anything without her A-OK. So that goes to show that she gave the okay for them to drop $250,000 against me. And here I was a nobody. I was a nobody. Why would she care? But she's that petty.
Wow.
And I can't prove it. So maybe she didn't. Maybe they did it independently. I can't prove. But whatever.
Well, she obviously cared enough to find out that you weren't supporting her.
Oh yeah, she knew. I don't know how she even knew. I quite frankly don't know how she even knew who I was when I was standing next to her. I was getting ready to introduce myself. I was kind of like, as a young politician, even though I didn't support her, I was still kind of fanboying, this is our senator and this is the former first lady. I was about to introduce myself and she just blurted right out, so you endorsed Barack. And I'm like, how the heck did she know that? Like, yeah. I was a nobody.
They know everything.
I guess so.
So what was your reaction to her when she told you that we would never have a black president?
I was speechless. I kept my cool and I just said to her, well, I forget what I even said because I was kind of speechless when she said that. But I know that I kept my composure.
I couldn't imagine what your facial expressions would have been.
Yeah, I don't know what my facial expression was, but I tried to keep just a stern face and I said, well, it was nice meeting you and good luck and if there's anything I could do as a legislator for you, let me know. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was a very short conversation. And she, in a few words, let me know that to me, it was a way for her to intimidate me and let me know that I know who you are and I know what you did. That's the takeaway I got from it. And I've told others and they, obviously afterwards, and they told me the same thing. They said she was sending you a message.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God that life is long over for me.
But you always have the knowledge and the experience, and that's such a nice thing. And that's why I said you brought to the table your knowledge and your experience about all of this makes you have a different approach, a different perspective. And I love that you brought that to the table. And that's something that no other channel was able to provide. And I felt like we needed someone like that in the community for a long time. I told you that so many times.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. I just, unfortunately, it also put a target on my back too, because a lot of the petty people were like, "Oh, we got to get rid of him. We got to call names or do this or do that." Or, I mean, it got so petty that I literally did delete my channel the other night.
I
And
know.
thank God I had people that showed me how to get it restored, because it was gone. I mean, I took
I didn't
screenshots
know
of
it
it.
was like a process that like you would have to even go through like that.
Well, see, I had
Yeah.
2 accounts. So I had an older one that was a smaller channel, and I only had 1 subscriber. That one actually deleted immediately, but because this one had actually content and more subscribers,
Mm.
it could have took like 48. From the way they explained it, it could take like 48 hours or up to a few days to do it. And I was able to send them an email almost immediately, and they responded that it hadn't been permanently deleted yet, so they were able to reverse it. But they couldn't reverse the other one, so I did lose another channel. Thankfully,
But,
again,
but was it? Yeah, you could create another one like that easily, right?
Yeah, I would have lost. Yeah, the other one I only had 1 subscriber, and I never uploaded a video. It was one that
How will you ever get the 1 subscriber back again?
Yeah, no, it was just something that because originally I've always loved YouTube, and I had always wanted to start like a political talk show. I stumbled into this whole true crime thing because of the Watts case, and I became.
I remember before you even made a channel, I saw you on Zab Girl, and you were saying your story, and you started off in the chat, and then eventually you came on panel, and I was following you ever since then, and it was different.
Yeah,
knowledge,
and I swore to
experience
everybody
no one
I
else
would never
had.
start a channel too.
Yeah,
I mean,
but who cares? It just it's easier. What are you gonna do? Hop on a million ones different panels, say the same story, because you had to do your whole introduction every time you went on someone else's panel.
Yeah.
So it was just easier and smarter to just make your own.
Well, that's what it was. I actually started feeling guilty. I felt like because I started wanting to always, I was in chats and talking, and people would bring up points, and I would go on like Kelly and Amber on CT, and I started feeling like I was imposing myself and like talking to, and I didn't want to be that person that panel hopping and this and that.
Oh, come on! I was the biggest panel whore of them all.
Oh, we all do it, and it's not always people make fun of it, because I know only I could speak for myself. We genuinely want to talk about it. We're all passionate about it.
And I loved going to each person brought something different and a different perspective and a different theory. And I love having multiple conversations with different people. You don't want to be with the same person all the time. You're never going to learn anything new.
Exactly.
Well, look at me and Dave. People think, "Oh, Larry, how can you?" Me and Dave. Well, Melissa. Me and Dave behind the scenes talk on the phone a few times a day, and most of it we're arguing with each other. I'm yelling at him that he's wrong on this, and we fight over it. But here's what I do know: I know he's genuine. I know he's loyal, and as long as someone is genuine in their disagreements, I love having debates. What I don't like is where I end up getting down the drama and fighting role is when people insert themselves in cases, or when they get petty and it's not a genuine disagreement. It's just they're attacking you, or they just want to debunk you because they didn't come up with it. Then it's like, come on, you're being petty. Just disagree with me if you want. I have no problem with that. But they get petty.
Yeah.
Anyways, I gotta get off that.
Okay, but I was just gonna say, people get defensive again. Like when they have their mind made up and they think that, oh yeah, I put a lot of time and energy and effort into my one theory. Then sometimes their brain shuts off and they refuse to have any other new information, whether it's true or not. They're not open to it, and that's not what it should be about. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about the truth.
Well, like I've always said, ultimately, at the end of the day, there's not a single one of us that knows what happened between 1:48 a.m. and 5:17 a.m. We don't know. And where my theory differs from others is, frankly, other than for curiosity purposes, I don't care what happened during those times. I want to know why it happened. I want to know the cover-up. I want to know why this event ended up. What was the end game?
Do you think if you uncovered what happened in the political cover-up, the bigger cover-up, that in turn we would find out what happened the night of the murders?
Yes, I think so, and I think that's the biggest, or let me say, at least, I don't know if we'll know for sure, but I think that's right now, that's the only way that we will, is to find out and to blow open the cover up. That's the only way we're going to get to what happened. Because as of right now, everybody and anybody has dissected that discovery, the timelines. There's been people infiltrating and talking and writing to Chris and getting audio of Chris and getting this, and he's told 78 different stories. And there's all kinds of provocateurs and players involved in this thing that we're never going to get from that.
Yeah.
What we got to do, we got to look at this thing. We got to step away from the tree and look at the forest and say, wait a second, though. The one thing we do know is for some reason there was a cover up. For some reason it was rushed through. For some reason there's a lot of unanswered questions. What's the bigger picture? What was the end game? Expose the cover up and the rest of the house will fall. And then
That's what I agree. Stop trying to figure out the small little details and look at the bigger picture, because it, like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, I see people arguing. Like I'll follow chats and I'll see people argue. No, it wasn't at 5:17. It was at 5:32. And I'm like, dude, really? Does that matter?
Right. You get nowhere, and then you end up creating like 5 different live streams about the same subject. And I just want to add this real quick, and I'll stop butting in, but I'm glad that neither one of you.
First of all, you are on the panel for a reason.
I know, but
I'm the one that butt in.
No, I love everyone. Stop it.
No, I'm glad that neither one of y'all allowed anybody to push you away, because if people like you or Melissa allowed people to run you off, then we would be stuck with the people that ran y'all off, and then YouTube wouldn't even be worth watching. It's just like I told her, if you pose any sort of threat, you're going to be attacked. It's not because you're not any good or you don't know what you're talking about or you don't have something to bring to the table. It's quite the opposite. So
take it as a compliment.
And I also, speaking of like all the craziness that goes on, we know, in the drama and that, I judge people based on how they treat me.
Exactly.
And my personal experiences. And if someone wants to get mad that I'm talking with, I'm only using it because tonight happens to be an example, I'm talking to Melissa. Or if I was on Dave's panel the night before. Look, it just like politics, you can't make everyone happy. All I can say to people is, we had a very intelligent discussion on a wide range of topics tonight. And that's what we are supposed to be doing, at least I thought, in this community. And that's the purpose of it. And it was intellectually stimulating. I had fun for one of the first times in weeks tonight, just calling in here. I didn't expect it. I thought I was just going to talk about my dream. But I had fun. And if anyone doesn't like the fact that I did that, well, then they're not a friend of mine anyways.
Exactly. And Larry, I can't tell you how many people have said that in her chat, that they've had the best time in a while because everybody's calm.
You still there?
Yeah, she went out of Brett. You went out of service for a bit.
Oh, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, all I was saying was, just like he just said, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people say the same thing, that they enjoy it here because everybody's so respectful and we have good conversation and there's no drama. I mean, we're so surrounded. I mean, I've even thought about leaving YouTube, and I don't even have a channel.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, it is. I'd be lying if I said I always try to put on the tough guy, thick skin act, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't get to me. It absolutely does. But, like I told Melissa, she knows I gave her my advice to her in the beginning. Right from the start of all the craziness was, don't worry about it. Just go forward. I give better advice than I take. I often
we all do.
I make a better consultant than I do a candidate because I can give great advice and I can't. But then when I'm following it, I'm too passionate and I'll say something I don't. I can't do it. But anyways, I told her right away. I said, just go forward. Pretend it doesn't exist. Do your show. Do your thing. If you want, I'll come on panel. I'll do anything. I've talked to several. I've given Irvin the same advice. I think he's very smart. And
Irvin is so smart.
If Irvin has any weakness, it's that he's too nice, I think.
Yes,
he's such a nice guy that he worries. And I hope he'll just go forward and continue to put out his beliefs, his true opinions, and I think he'll be amazing. and just don't worry about what other people think. If anyone doesn't like you for what you're doing, then they're not your friend in the beginning.
As long as you stay consistent everywhere you go, that should be all that matters. And that's kind of what I advocated for as the panel whore and the panel hopper I was. You should be able to go wherever you want as long as you're staying consistent and you're not being two-faced or engaging in the drama. That's all it should be about.
Yeah, I mean, I go to a certain channel that you guys know, and I'm good friends with her, and I understand there's been all kinds of stuff. But, you know, it's my place late at night where I could go and let my hair down, have
That's
fun.
That's fine. I don't care.
But
that's fine.
What I make sure I do is I don't badmouth people. I will just sit in there and kind of go along. We'll make jokes and this and that, but I don't badmouth anyone. I try to stick to whatever and catch up on what I'm, missing. But again, I hope other people too would not, because I've fallen into it myself, is judge people based on, well, I saw you on such and such's channel. How could you do that to me? Well, I'm sorry. No. I'm not doing anything to anybody. I judge people on how they treat me. You treat me good, I treat you good.
Well, I love having you up here, Larry, and I appreciate you coming in and you taking the link. And I love that, just like me and Brittany, you could go from one thing and hop to the next and bounce all around. But in the end, it all kind of intertwines with each other.
It does.
Every single time.
I love it. And I'm going to, after this, I'm going to go back and watch the show I missed where you talked about Operation Northwood, because I'm pretty upset I missed it. And
yeah, go a few days ago. We went into a lot and it was interesting.
Awesome. All right, I'll let you ladies get back to your thing. I'm going to go and try to hopefully lay down and get some sleep finally.
Well, Larry, before you go, I want to say, please don't leave. There's so many people in the chat that said the same thing.
No, I'm definitely not going anywhere. I've been just refocusing on, like, I changed the name. I know some people have, laughed. Oh, he tried to change the name to change. You can't. Yeah, dude, if you ask Dave, the other channel that I was telling you that, remember I said that ended up, it got deleted. It was my oldest channel. It was always, that was also called Executive Session. And that was what I wanted to name my political talk show. And
I think it's nice. I like it.
Yeah, when I created Just Larry, I thought I'd have maybe a couple hundred people that would join, and we'd all just sit down and have a chat. It'd be an informal thing. I never imagined, and I know I'm still a tiny channel, but I never imagined in the years I had 6,000. Yeah, it did, and it overwhelmed me because I wasn't prepared. I never did that before. And so now that, I'm doing a channel and actually I was like, man, I want it to be a little more professional sounding than Just Larry. So I changed the name and the branding. That's all I did. And now I'm thinking more, and I'm like, I'm not going to let them run me off. So what I'm trying to do is I ordered a bunch of new equipment. So like a new camera. I want to start doing more pre-recorded, because I think where a lot of the drama and the distractions come in, as much as I love lives, is through the chat and during a live.
Do you notice how the bigger channels don't ever do lives? They'll only do the pre-recorded and drop it.
Well, that's where I got the bite. There's a certain creator that I have kind of befriended that is got a channel of over, I think they just hit 500,000, but they live in the similar area as me up here in upstate New York. And one of the best advice they gave me was, well, first they told me to get away from Watts. I'm not sure I can do that yet, but they also told me, do more. You could do lives, but do a pre-recorded video, 20, 40 minutes, whatever, where you introduce the case so that there's no interruptions where you're having to thank people for super chats and things like that. So you do that, and give people a day to watch it so they can get familiar with the case you're talking about. Then do a live where you're literally just answering questions and chatting.
That's actually a good idea. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. But again, I got to learn how to edit now again. And I
don't know how to do any of that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to learn that. That's going forward, though. That is kind of my strategy that I'm going to start trying to do, is more pre-recorded videos and then follow-up lives where we can all talk about the video I already put out.
I think that's a really good idea. And, like similar to you, like when you came out, you're still a new channel creator. It's hard to even, like, at least with me, I know you said it too. It's like, I don't even consider myself a channel creator at this point, but you grew so fast, and naturally these are things you're just going to learn in time until you experience it yourself and you realize, all right, well, I should have done this better, or I shouldn't have done that. It's just something you're going to realize as time goes on and you go through these experiences, how you want to do it moving forward.
Oh yeah, it was a huge learning experience. And the first two cases I covered as a new channel that was growing, happened to be two of the biggest landmines in true crime, which was Watts and then Androcchio.
Yeah.
And holy cow, when I started getting 1,000 people in chat and they were all coming at me and calling me movie and making up names and trolling me and making videos, I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Like, I'm just talking cases.
Yeah.
And but now I've stepped back and realized, look, that comes with the territory. You got to just ignore it and keep talking. And that's why I gave you the same advice. Keep doing what you're doing. You're awesome. You're made for this. You're very talented.
Thank you, Larry.
I saw that. As a matter of fact, I first noticed you on a panel of one of my biggest foes, and that was CK's channel. You were on her panel, and I said, wow, you were being very fair. You were challenging them, but not being rude. And I'm like, this girl's well spoken. And I think I reached out to you and told you that.
Yeah.
And I said, what I liked about you was you're not going to just tell me what I want to hear. You're going to tell me if you disagree.
Never.
And that's important, but you're going to do it honestly and not just to be a jerk, So you've always told me, and that's why I immediately gave you a wrench. And I'm like, I want this girl to be part of my team. Like she's not just going to say, kiss my butt, like she's going to tell me, hey, Larry, I think you're wrong, or you should do this right. Or, I think you went off the track here. Like,
absolutely.
That's good.
Like a real friend should.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we shouldn't take offense to that. That's what we want. I don't want a yes man. And if you want a yes man, get a mirror. You can look in the mirror and agree with yourself all day.
I don't want sheep. I want the people who are going to come up and on panel and come debate me and make me think, because that's the only way you're going to learn anything is by having someone question you.
Exactly.
And it's good. But
Larry, I hope you will go over some political stuff too on your channel.
I want to. I'm gonna, and I've thought about creating a separate show that is politically related, but still on the same channel. Like call this, I don't know, whatever with the true crime. But some people create different channels, and again, I don't know how I'd get an audience on another channel. I don't know how I even got what I got on this one. The problem is with politics; it's so divided. As we talk about that, I don't want to alienate people when if I take a stance, for example, against their favorite politician, all of a sudden 50% of the people go in. It's such a delicate thing, but
it is. I was even nervous. I was like, how am I supposed to, everyone knows me for true crime, but I also want to talk aliens and conspiracies. And a lot of time people are like, nope, I want nothing to do with that. So I had no idea how to integrate it, but you find a way, there's millions of people out on this platform. You have to realize it extends beyond the Watts community, because that's what I didn't grasp for a while. Like, oh my God, these people, they're not, no. There's millions of people on this platform.
We are
for you.
If you look at Watts Island, I mean, I've done the analytics on numbers of most of the channels, and really, if people are looking at numbers and they care about the subs, which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Right now, YouTube is, I'm very much into the business. Like I work in, I know there's been people online that have said, he's a telemarketer and insurance salesman. No, I don't sell insurance. I actually have my Series 6 and 7. You can look it up at the state. I work in finance, and I work mostly with annuities and mutual funds. So I'm very much into that. And right now, the fastest growing career in America is YouTube and content creator.
That's what I heard.
Yes, and it's no longer like maybe 10 years ago, it was like one of those things where, you either hit it big and you became like a Logan Paul and rich, or you just were broke. Well, now it's no longer like that. It's maturing so much that there's a middle class on YouTube. There's people that make 50 grand a year, and that's fine. And they're happy with it, and they can work from home, do what they do. It's become an actual ecosystem. And it's a very realistic career opportunity. And you don't, with other ways of monetization, there's some channels that make off of 10,000 subscribers, they're able to make 50, 60 grand a year because of affiliate marketing and, Patreon. And then of course, memberships and super chats and whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're doing a job. I hate when I see these videos out there and people claim, oh, they're doing it for money.
Well, you should
that's what they do when they work.
Effort. Like, you guys, people, it's not as easy as you think. Like, look, just for tonight, I can't do this right now, but the amount of notes I have taken and like prep for it. Like it takes time, it takes energy, you know, like and I'm not monetized, but there's a difference between getting paid for putting your time and energy and putting out content versus using your platform for drama or slander or harassing, bullying. That I don't think you should get paid for because that's not adding anything into society.
But responding, I spend so much time responding to emails.
Yes.
You know, I'm at work during the day because I work 9 to 5 too, and I work from home thankfully. But I find myself often, you know, neglecting my real work because I'm responding to emails, I'm studying and researching certain things, I'm making phone calls, taking phone calls, responding to comments on the page, and obviously having to delete comments that are just rude and nasty. But I mean, it is a job. I mean, for example, do you think Walter Cronkite went on NBC every night and did the news because it was just his passion? No,
Right.
if he didn't get paid for it, he would have went and worked in a factory or something. You gotta make a living, and there's no. I hate that people apologize or pretend that that's not the case. I mean, yes, it is. You work hard, you provide a service, you provide content. Not everybody's gonna like you, and like I was saying to you, I was Watch Island. If you look at most channels, what I've ultimately come to the conclusion is if you are strictly just a Watch person, you basically are gonna your maximum subscriber count is gonna really max out at about 10,000.
Yeah.
That's it. And other than like you got Unmasked, but they didn't go to 90,000 because of Watch. If you look, they do a ton of pre-recorded. Vanessa does a really good job of pre-recorded videos on other cases, and that's where they've gained a lot of traction in other communities. Stick like you were saying about being scared to, and I guess this advice could apply to me when it comes to talking politics. Yeah, you might lose a few people on Watch Island because you talked about an alien, but you're going to catch on to a different audience. There's millions of people out there. So you're going to gain, you know, you lost 5 there, but you gained 300 in another community. Then the next day you do a video on something else. Okay, you lost 4 here, but you gained 500 there. And
you'll find the group that's meant for you, the subs that are meant for you.
Yeah, and they'll get there and they'll build up as long as you stick true to you. I mean, look at Kendall Ray. She's got over 2 million. She talks about aliens.
Kendall Ray. I know.
Me
I
too.
love her.
She doesn't just talk about true crime. If you go back to her earliest videos, she started off really experimenting between, you know, makeup, and she was talking about grocery hauls, and she was talking about shopping hauls, and she started doing, and she still sometimes will put out stuff about conspiracy theories and
she does
aliens and things like that. And it has.
And now they even do their podcasts. You know, she's able to separate, and I think that's something she realized too, is to separate where she will, you know, like the
Mile High
channels now. Yeah, Mile High, like and then she'll do, you know, like her short already pre-recorded videos and put it out, but then the Mile Higher podcast she'll do, and she'll actually sit down and have a discussion and stuff.
Yeah, no, she does great, and it works. I mean, she stays true to who she is. She doesn't get bogged down in, you know, creators that call her out and this and that. It's like, no, I'm staying focused. I'm going to go forward what I do, and as long as you stay true to yourself, do what you do, and you have good content, people will come. And you know, you can't, you know, it's unfortunate. You don't like to have anyone upset, but if people are going to leave you, they're going to leave you. I mean, they have that choice,
and that's fine. As fast as they'll go, they will come.
Yeah,
and I'd rather, like I've said a million times, I'd rather 4 quarters than 100 pennies. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So the people that I have in my chat, that's all I could ever ask for, because they're ride or dies. They're people who genuinely support me, and it's not about numbers. It really isn't.
Yeah, look at it this way.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Look at it this way for both of you. At this moment, you'll really see who your true supporters are.
Absolutely.
You know, this is the true test.
No, you're right. When I deleted my channel, I didn't expect anyone to know, but Natasha announced it on her channel. But so a lot of people heard it, and oh my God, the amount of emails and messages I got, people telling me not to, like, I couldn't believe it.
I told you, you have a lot of, like, it's hard to remember the good people in the sport that you have, because the negativity, it's so overwhelming. But I kept telling you, I was like, don't. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's your decision. But don't let anyone push you to do anything, because there are a lot of people that are here and love and support you. and subscribe to your channel because they want to hear what you have to say.
No, you're right, and the same applies for all of us, and that's why we can't allow that to. And I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I was able to catch it, and I didn't lose my channel. So I'm gonna just keep going forward and try to do it right. And like you were saying, it's all about I don't know if you ever watched Think Media. Like, that's one of my favorite channels. They talk all about YouTube strategy growth, and I've been watching them for years. And they talk all the time, and that's where I got some of the statistics I just told you about. How YouTube is one of the fastest growing careers, and they talk all the time about it's no longer even, because it used to be YouTube, you only got paid per AdSense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just AdSense and how many views you had. Well, now there's a lot of channels that, depending on how they go about their monetization things and their strategies, that have there's channels that have 10,000 subscribers that make more money than channels that have 500,000, because
Yes.
they have what's called super fans. And those people, if they are, I would rather have 10,000 loyal, quality super fans, and I hate calling it fans, but you know what I mean, super
Yep.
subscribers that really enjoy your stuff, than 500,000 passive people that just watch your videos once in a while. Because those 10,000 super ones, they're gonna, subscribe to your, if you have, I don't have one, but if you have like a Patreon, let's say, they're gonna subscribe. They're gonna, if you do, and I don't do it, but if you have merch, they're gonna buy your merchandise. They're gonna, they're gonna actually be active.
They're loyal, and they're
loyal.
You.
Yes, and you can really, once you get those multiple revenue streams going, it's all a little bit here, a little bit there, but it adds up over the course of a month, and you can make it a full-time job.
Absolutely.
And anyone that decries that, or says, "Oh, look what Larry and Melissa are talking about," that, yeah, you're lying, because that's what everybody. There's nothing wrong with that. Why would you not want to have a career, work hard, and do something you're passionate about, and be able to do it, and also put food on your table while you're doing it? There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
So
Remember
anyways,
back in school, they would say, your teacher would say, when the computer, like technology first came out, they'd be like, "You ain't ever going to get paid for sitting around just screwing around on your computer." Well, little did they know, then YouTube blew up, and gaming, like, people are paid to be a gamer, like, which is awesome, like, but they used to like discourage us. But so I think that's funny.
But you both have a great point. It is a lot of work. Like, once you grow to a certain point, it even takes people getting a whole team together. It's more than what one person can do. So
a lot of these people, their companies. Like, for example, I had dinner tonight with my uncle, who's actually a lawyer, but one of his and my cousin, who's also a lawyer, and he's a former congressman, and also another one of their lawyer friends. So we all went out. We had an Italian steakhouse. We had dinner and then some drinks. And my uncle, one of the pieces of advice he gave me was to create an LLC to put this channel under, because if I start going down this lane and they try to bury me with lawsuits, you want to make sure that your personal assets are protected. So, I mean, it's a real thing that a lot of these people, they have businesses and they hire people. I mean, these bigger YouTubers, like, Logan Paul, for example, and I'm just using him as an example. He has a whole team. It's a company. It's an enterprise. Yep. He has several employees. He pays editors. He pays, Mr. Beast and those guys. I mean, they have a company. There's people that depend on him for their career. I mean, he's paying people to do stuff. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, there's a lot of independent media. I don't know if anyone watches the Young Turks. I mean, he started YouTube back before it was anything. And now it's a multi-million-dollar company with reporters that are paid, and editors.
Same thing with Joe Rogan. He used to be in the back of like the UFC fights, and they used to just stream it, and it would be such a weird for people to live be able to interact. Or Tom Green, they used to call him on the phone, and that's how he used to talk to people. So it's come a long way. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, you're right. You're right. And so I think we got to, in the smaller micro community where we get these people yelling, it's all about the money. That's all they care. Relax. No, it's about the content. We work hard. And yes, of course, if we're going to get paid to do it too, then yes, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't go to work for my company every day at 9 o'clock because I love getting out of bed and doing it. I do it because I have to pay my mortgage. You know what I mean? If they told me tomorrow, Larry, we're not paying you anymore, do you think I'd get up and go to work?
No.
No, of course not. I mean, it's really a dumb argument.
It's just another way of them trying to sabotage.
Yeah, they try to marginalize and they want to shut people up. And
I think
it's the internet where they're anonymous.
They'll put it in the other people's heads. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just got to push. You got to push past it, and it's no biggie. But that's why we got to get Melissa to 1K, and so everybody, if there's anybody here, subscribe. You know, and likewise, same with Irvin, and I always do, and that's why I hate when people say that Larry's so evil and he's always in the drama. Dude, I try to push everybody.
You do.
Like,
no, you do.
I don't jump around to big channels. The ones I'm usually promoting are smaller ones because I want them to grow, because I know how fortunate I was that I started my channel, did a live, and I woke up the next day and had like 5,000 subscribers. And I'm like, oh my God, how the heck that happen? So it was because I had a lot of help from good people. And I do appreciate
you network. That's what you got to do. You got to network. I mean, you're not going to wake up and a channel's not going to grow on its own.
No, you're right. I networked. I didn't know at the time that I would ever start a channel, but because I was doing it, yes, I had help, and I had people like Dave and even Kelly and Amber that were, promoting my channel. So I would be lying if I didn't say that happened. So I look at it as I have a duty to help other up and coming people. Like, honestly, I don't care what anyone says. Melissa's way more talented than I am.
No,
so
first of all, there's different levels of talent. You and I are nowhere near the same person, so we bring totally different things to the table, and you can't compare the two and see which one's better.
No, you're right. But you guys are, I'm just using you and Irvin as an example. You guys are both very talented in different ways. And you guys deserve to have a chance too. And we all do. I mean, and I don't understand people that get mad and they look at it as a competition, because we're all in kind of the same niche. So the more people we all bring in, it's better. It isn't like a YouTube viewer can only subscribe to one channel. Like, if that was the case, then okay. We would be competitive.
I said, Larry. I said, what do these people think? That's like saying you can't be subscribed to both Netflix and Hulu at the same time. They may be competitors, but you're just the viewer. If you want to watch all the content in the world, that it doesn't matter. Like, who are you to say, well, no, like, if you're subscribed to me, you can't be over there. No. Stop putting the subscriber.
The people that do that, I think they're being self-defeating, because I look at it as, I hope Melissa wakes up tomorrow with 100,000 subscribers, because me being friends with her, that means I have a chance to get more subscribers. And likewise, if I wake up with 100,000 subscribers, Melissa or anyone else for that matter, oh my God, he brought in more people to our niche. So now we can get them people too, because they can subscribe to all of us.
Exactly, yeah.
It's exactly fighting each other just makes people turn away.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And as a subscriber, I'm gonna tell you, that may work for people that are telling all of their subs that they should only watch certain people and to unfollow them if they go to certain channels. That's only gonna work for a minute, and that sub might be like, okay, I'll do that, but it's gonna take like maybe a week at the most, and people are gonna get fed up with that, because people don't like being told what to do.
Yeah,
it's already a problem.
Well, you're right.
You can't dictate what people do in their own time. That's their prerogative.
And I feel like, back to, not to bring up old stuff, but when there was the original controversy of me, some people tried to paint it as I was trying to tell people what to do and not to go to a certain person's channel or so on and so forth, when really the reality, and if you read the messages, was they were telling me not to do a show, where I was simply going to speak out against a certain event, not against people, not against channels, not against anyone. I wasn't telling anything. I was asking people that it was a bad situation. Let's not get involved because of the kids. And maybe I was wrong, but I can tell you now with 100% certainty, the intent was never, ever, ever to tell people what to do or to, not do something. I mean, no way. do what you got to do. I don't care.
Absolutely. I say, that's what I say all the time is intentions. Nobody is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes, but the biggest factor is, well, what are your intentions? Are you making these mistakes and you're not intending to be malicious or cause hurt or anyone, you know, or intending to lie? Or are you? Because there are people who make choices and their intent is in the wrong place. So as long as you make mistakes, which everyone does, and we're going to constantly make mistakes. No one's perfect, but as long as your intent and your heart is in the right place, then it's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Intentions is everything to me. I've said that my whole life. You know, it's all about intentions. You know, they tried to cancel me when I was singing a song, and I rightfully apologized because I didn't, but my intention was not, to be racist. I was singing a song trying to give homage to someone that just passed away, someone who I've met twice in my life, who I grew up idolizing, and stupid me forgets I'm on alive and I'm singing along the song. But you can't negate my life's work. My life's work. I mean, I've been 18 years. I looked at my card. I've been a member of the NAACP. Anyone that knows me, this is my life's work, has been working in the inner city because that's where I grew up. And for one show, and I guess, that's the internet, for people to have jumped down my throat over it, it was like, man, I just felt, but again, I mean, that's not to take away the fact that I needed to be more sensitive, and I apologized, and I meant it sincerely that, I need to be more sensitive because not everyone does know me. I'm on the internet. It's not like I'm hanging out with my buddies. They don't know me. And it was offensive to people. And if it's offensive to even one person, it's wrong.
Right.
And I think that's what I hope most people look at, is the intention behind it. That it was wrong. Yes. I apologize. But my intention was not.
It's more about how you pick up yourself and move forward again from it. It's not about the mistake. It's about how do you choose to move forward from this point forward, as from this point forward, as long as you're consciously trying to do better always. And we all should be always trying to do better. That's all that should matter,
And I really hope that cancel culture stuff will go away eventually. Because like saying one thing and it ruining your entire life.
Cancel culture, yeah.
I really hope cancel culture dies fast because
it's dangerous. Yeah,
it's so dangerous.
Well, especially now with so many different communications. I mean, when we grew up, we were able to say what you want, and I know times have changed, but we would do things and say what you want, and you'd grow up, and like I grew up in a very diverse community, so I'd hear jokes and things that, we would, but even if you were wrong, it didn't leave the block.
No, because there was no way that they could really document it. It was just word of mouth, someone witnessed it. Okay. But now we have technology and everything is documented and everything is recorded. And even if you delete it, someone else screen recorded it and shared it out. It's scary. So as much as technology is awesome and it's so innovative and we are able to push forward and do all these breakthroughs in science and in everyday life, it's also, and that's why I love the show Black Mirror. If anyone watches Black Mirror on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it shows like the evils and how this is always going to turn around and bite us in the ass. So as awesome as technology is and how much it advances us and how much positive, it's always going to come around and there's going to be a negative to it.
Well, look at the way
I just want to point out quick, ladies, that I am rinsing out my soda bottle. I am not pooping, in case anyone hears the sink on. And walking around the kitchen. I'm not pooping.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, just had to let you know. That would be tomorrow's news.
Absolutely. That's so funny.
Yeah. So,
all right, I'm going to get off this, though. It's 2:22. I'll listen to you as I'm trying to fall asleep. But yeah, I'm going to try to get into bed and get to sleep.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Larry. I always appreciate it. You're so supportive, and I always enjoy having discussions with you. You're very well-rounded and knowledgeable, and I look forward to having more discussions with you.
Yeah, absolutely. This was fun. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I kind of butted in, but
No, I love it. Anyone can
No,
butt
it was
in.
awesome.
Please butt in more.
awesome.
Yeah, it was great to have an opportunity to talk to you. I really appreciate it, and I support you 100%.
Thank you
Yes,
both.
Tia.
I will talk to you very soon.
Okay, Larry. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Have a great Saturday night and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully good vibes to your fiance and everything.
Thank you.
Yeah,
She'll be
have a
home
good
Wednesday
night.
finally. She's
Oh
been
yeah,
gone for. It's been
I
a
know.
month. I've been home a
Yeah,
month.
it's
I'm
been a
surprised I'm still
while,
alive.
but you
Aw.
manage. You manage. Make sure those dishes are done. You vacuum. The bed is made, or else she's gonna come home and she's gonna be pissed.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna hire one of the neighborhood kids to come in and clean the house.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She
Thank
is.
you. Thank you. Yeah, she's a great girl. To put up with me, I mean, she's got to be a saint. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good night, ladies.
Good night, Larry.
All right, you too.
Bye bye.
Okay. So one of the things, Brittany, are you familiar with the law of one?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you're not familiar with the law of one? Okay. This is something I just wanted to ask everyone else, even though everyone pretty much left because it's late. But if there's anything specific that you guys want to discuss moving forward, or you guys have any suggestions of topics, you guys pretty much understand and get a vibe of the kind of things that I like to talk about, whether it's true crime related or one of the conspiracies or something odd and peculiar that's going on in the world. Or outside of the world, feel free to let me know in the comments or the chat, because I love to write it down. And the law of one is definitely something that I'll be covering in one of the chats. Flat Earth. Gina, of course, Flat Earth is going to be coming. Oh, Tia,
I can tell you everything.
here. Nosedive is definitely one of my favorites. I can't really choose one specific favorite. I could kind of give you the top three, but Nosedive is definitely a good one.
Well, Melissa, I can vibe with you on Flat Earth all day long. I know probably everything about that.
See, I don't think the Earth is flat. I think they question it because NASA does lie to us constantly. Like there's a bunch of footage, and I told you guys I'll get it up of, where the astronauts are supposed to be in zero gravity. They're supposed to be in space. Meanwhile, you'll see the suspension cords and harnesses that are legit holding them up. Well, if they're in space, then why do they need that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Metaphysical. Oh, of course. I love astrophysics, and I'll definitely get into metaphysics.
I don't think the Earth is flat, but I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater either, because there's a lot of stuff that I have learned from that theory, and the path that it has led me down is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So don't hear Flat Earth and run from it. I challenge anyone who hears this, just give it a chance and look into it, because even if you don't believe it, there are so many things that you can take from it.
Oh, absolutely. People need to. I'm sorry, I'm writing down Tia's Magic and the History of Witches. I actually really like that. But people need to stop thinking that it's black and white. These things are not black and white, people. The same way that I even just said this to someone recently. Just because one person is wrong in a scenario doesn't automatically mean the other person is right. There's something called a spectrum and gray area, okay? And so the same thing with the flat Earth. Just because the Earth might not be flat, or it may be flat, there's still the gray area of all of the reasons why they believe the Earth is flat. And that doesn't mean every single reason or explanation they give is wrong. There are things that don't add up. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to come to the same conclusion of whether the Earth is flat, but it's still things that should be brought awareness to and spoken about.
You're going to have to let me do that live with you when you do the Flat Earth.
I would absolutely love to, Lady Kelly. My email is in my description.
What is it that you just asked me? I know, so I could write it down, because I'm going to look it up and learn about it.
The law of one.
Okay, I wrote it down. Yeah, I'll look into that and study it tomorrow.
Marilyn Monroe. And then you mentioned Beyonce and Jay-Z and how they tied to the Illuminati or the secret society.
Oh, Beyonce and Jay-Z are freaking, she's a high priestess for sure. She is, girl.
No, I don't. I'm not blaming it. Oh my God. Greek mythology.
See, look, going through this journey with you, I'm learning a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I want to do Admiral Byrd and the Inner Earth.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, that one is really
so
interesting. Because, you know, you hear about the flat earth a lot, but the inner earth theory, you really don't ever hear that much.
Have you ever seen,
I'm happy.
Have you ever seen the footage? Excuse me, hold on. Oh, I got choked on my water. Sorry.
It's okay.
Have you ever seen the footage? There's like, it's this grainy image, and the video is only like, I don't know, 3 minutes, but it's supposedly a shot of the hollow earth.
I think I did.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I think I did.
We'll have to find that so we can show it.
Oh, I'll definitely be doing the moon landing, Gina. Yeah, the hollow earth, that's the same one. Oh, okay. Good night, Rose Gold. Thank you so much for being here. Just if for some reason you guys aren't getting notifications, sometimes what you got to do is unsubscribe, resubscribe, and make sure when you hit the bell, notifications are to all. But I wrote down all these all these topics. These are all very interesting topics. The thinning of the veil. Yes, gone prime time. Exactly. What exactly does that mean?
I love that.
Mm-hmm. And I look forward because really these are all topics that I looked into alone. And I really didn't think, I couldn't find anyone in my everyday life that was interested in this kind of stuff. Oh, well, scientists prove that currently there are at least 21 different dimensions currently happening around us right now, but we are three-dimensional beings currently transitioning into the fourth dimension, which is time. But this kind of taps into, well, when you take drugs like LSD or DMT, how do you know you are hallucinating versus you're not tapping into one of the dimensions that is happening around you that you're not normally able to perceive? Or the same thing with spirits and ghosts. When you experience something like that, why are you assuming that this is someone who just passed on and it's their spirit versus how do you know you're just not tapping into something that is happening around you right now? You're just not able to perceive it. The same way, if you put an ant on a flat table, the ant only has the option to go either front or back or left or right. That means that ant is a two-dimensional ant. And now all of a sudden, if you take a piece of paper and put it up, well, now that ant has the option to go up or down. Now that ant became three-dimensional. So we are three-dimensional beings, okay? So now you have to imagine, well, what's going on with those other 18 different dimensions? What are they? The fourth dimension is time, but you have to understand time is a man-made concept. Time is relative. So what are the rest of these dimensions that we're not perceiving and we're not aware of? And I would love to explore that and what you guys think, what would happen post-death, because energy, you have to remember, energy is something that cannot be created nor destroyed. So where does our energy go? What happens when do you believe in the recycled energy, that reincarnation, that when we die, we are just a vessel, but our energy has to go somewhere and into something? And it's the same thing with black matter and black energy. Our universe is filled up more with black matter and black energy. We don't know what it is. All we know is that there is more of that than actual matter in the universe. Matter meaning everything we can see, the stars, the planets, everything we can account for. Exactly, Jess Mom. And so that's really fascinating. Of course, I've seen Donnie Darko. That was like something I was so obsessed with as a kid. And what's it called? I would love to deep dive into all these things and see what your guys' theories are, and get into like deep discussions about it. Oh, absolutely. Hi, Physio. Yes, absolutely. I will be getting into that. Absolutely.
You know,
There's actually a lot of monoliths. Sorry, Brittany, go on.
I also had to sleep and we dream. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Like when we have dreams, if we're in if that's us going to another dimension while we're dreaming, while we're asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, I've had a lot of weird experiences with dreams that just make me believe that, like reoccurring dreams.
Yes.
And things like that.
And it's the same thing with UFOs. A lot of time when you see a UFO, they will jump, meaning you'll see it all of a sudden going across the sky, and then out of nowhere, it'll just kind of vanish. And sometimes it'll reappear, and sometimes it won't. Well, they theorize that how do we not know that that craft is not coming in and out of different dimensions? So really, it's flying in a different dimension, but we as three-dimensional beings, it's just coming in and out of our dimension to where we could get little glimpses of it.
Oh, I definitely believe that for sure.
Yeah, Gone Prime Time. We talked about astral projection the other day, and your astral body and how you are able. We discussed how the CIA would conduct experiments where they will have someone laying in the bed and they will put an envelope in a whole nother room sealed, and they will write something on the envelope. And I use the example red licorice. And this person will travel with their astral body, go to that envelope, open it, and will be able to come back and tell them what it said. But physically, they never moved. Oh, we are told from when we were born to suppress our abilities, and that it's just crazy. And you can't talk to the dead, or you can't make things move with your mind, things like that. But actually, we do have these abilities. We're just taught to suppress them. I think the bunch of C fit similar to densities in which there are 7. Yes, absolutely, Lady Kelly. No, Jetsmon, that's what we were talking about. We originally started with Mandela Effects, and obviously Mandela Effects is named after Nelson Mandela, and it started with because a huge portion of the population has this collective false memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 80s. It was 2 days ago, Gone Prime Time. It was my last video. Oh, yeah, Lady Kelly. Mm-hmm. Or how about the adrenochrome that the elite is after? All the money they'll pay for the adrenochrome out of your pineal gland.
We have to talk about that.
We will. I wrote it all down. Don't worry, Britt.
Yeah, and I'm knowledgeable with the adrenochrome as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look. You're going to have to send me a list, or we'll have to talk about some of the topics that you want to go over so that I can make sure that I'm aware of.
Oh, yeah. I'll text you tomorrow, and I'll show you the list that I just wrote down, because there's like a good 15 things on this list. And we'll choose which ones we want to go forward with, and then we'll do some research and make sure that we have a good presentation for you guys. I'm going to try to start incorporating visual stuff for you guys too. I'm just not educated on what videos I could play without getting copyright striked and whatnot. Yes, John Podesta. So I have to look up that, but I'm going to try to start making a better experience for you guys. So you're not just hearing what we're saying, but you're actually able to visualize it as well. And it's, become captivated into it. And John Teeter, we'll do John Teeter and the whole time travel stuff. There's a lot of there's a lot of documentation of time travelers, but John Teeter was just a particularly interesting story.
Also, earlier, Tesla was mentioned. Nikola Tesla.
Yep.
his story would probably be a good topic to go over too, because
I agree.
he did not get the credit that he deserved. They
Oh,
hated him, and a lot of people aren't aware of the true history of Tesla.
I absolutely agree. And did you know he's connected to Trump's like grandfather or something? Tesla?
I did. That's yes. He opened the box that Tesla had concealed, and to my understanding, supposedly he told the CIA or whoever, FBI or whoever it was, that there was no contents in the box, but that was a lie. And supposedly the contents of the box.
Thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you in the chat.
Well, you also know that Tesla, the reason they hated him was because he found a way for us to have free electricity.
Yep.
And he also learned that frequencies could make buildings fall and things like that.
And that's what theorized with 9/11 and the towers. Certain frequencies were able, like, I know that's a whole nother theory, but
we got it. This is going to be so fun.
Huge. Yeah. Even do a simple Google search of what water does at different frequencies, at different hertz. Okay. They'll put water like on a flat surface, and just at different level hertz, the beautiful geometric shapes that these water makes, the patterns, it's amazing. Okay. And you have to get down to micro physics and stuff like that, because there are things that are happening on a molecular level that is mind blowing.
You know that if you use a telescope and you look at the stars, they have the similar patterns as to like what the frequencies of can do to water. Different frequencies and vibrations creates those symbols in the water. The stars look like that as well.
Absolutely. I love you so much, Susie G. I love you. I love you. Love you. Get a great night's rest. But yeah, no, this is all stuff that I'm very excited. Like, I get so excited, I forget that I just started my channel. So like, I try to stuff it all into one live because there's just so many topics I want to discuss. But, you know, I'm really excited to deep dive specifically into each one of them and be able to present it better. You know, in time, I will definitely get better at presenting it, you guys. And I just can't wait to have these discussions with like-minded people and bounce theories off of each other.
Yeah, and just think about how much we all can learn from this. The knowledge. I mean, it's almost like you're killing time, but you're not wasting it either at the same time.
Absolutely. That's awesome, Ms. Chronic Chronicles. That's very interesting. Right now is magic, not talking David Blake. Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to say earlier, Gone Prime Time, is everyone likes to talk about magic and superpowers and this. But what you don't realize is that this is happening within our own universe. What is our reality is so much more beyond fascinating than any fairy tale can make up of. Like, I really suggest people look up and educate themselves on the, you know, like Einstein's theory of relativity and Stephen Hawking's and black holes and microphysics, astrophysics, like what's happening. And on like the molecular level, what's happening with a quark, which is the smallest molecule you could get. Like it's such mind-boggling, amazing stuff that it basically is magic. Wow, you never heard of Donnie Darko, Tia? Jake Gyllenhaal, sexy as hell. Definitely would suggest watching it. But all right, I think I'm gonna hop off. Thank you so much, Brittany, for coming up as always. I love having these conversations and discussions with you. And everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being so respectful and always so suggestive of different ideas and new topics that we could talk about. And I really love hearing from each and every one of you.
Thank you, everybody. And thanks for everybody being so nice. Thank you, Melissa, as always.
I love you, Brittany.
All right, I love you too. And good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Mwah, mwah. Namaste. Spread peace, love, and positivity to all. And I hope you guys all have a great evening. And thank you to each of the mods. Thank you so much. You guys rock, and I appreciate you guys more than you would know.